What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Teach Henley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Teach Henley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Teach Henley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Teach Henley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? How's my audio sounding? Is it too low? Is it too high? I just want to make sure that we all on the same page before we get started with the show today. What's happening, friends and family? Yes, you are on time, Onaka. What up, Trey? K. Cooper, Kenyana Williams. Audio is perfect. Yep. Audio is loud and clear. What up, Mimi? My dog DJ Ace Keisha says good morning. Enos Luby, perfect timing. Gustav says, what up, though? What else is going on in these streets? SR 2001 forever. Chilling. Hope you enjoyed your B-Day, says Keisha. I did. I actually did enjoy my birthday. Matter of fact, let me get me I actually did enjoy my birthday. Would you like to know what I did for my birthday? A Dunn says he hopes that the B-Day was live. Well, I'll tell you exactly what I did for my birthday. No need in gatekeeping. Chris Cunningham says steakhouse. Nah. Walk on Wood said you worked the first half of your day. That is true. So you did see me live streaming. I did kick it with y'all. I had been up since early in the morning yesterday. And when I got off the live stream, I did like another hour's worth of work. And then I took a long nap. I cut off my phones. Boop. Actually, I didn't cut them off. I put them on Do Not Disturb. I put my phones on Do Not Disturb. I went and got in the bed like I was going to sleep for the night. And I took a long nap. And I did not set an alarm. Like I didn't put up an alarm in order to wake up or anything like that. I didn't do any of that. I put my phones on Do Not Disturb and I took a nap. And it was for about 4 hours. I took a 4-hour nap for my birthday. And I woke up and you know how you wake up and it's like you've been asleep for so long, you're delirious. Oh, I woke up and I was delirious. Like I remember looking around I was like, what time is it? And so I put my Apple Watch on because it tells me my sleep score. And then I woke up and the time was I forgot what time it was. It was like it was later in the day. I don't know, it had to be like 8, 9. And I went and got some strawberry cheesecake. And I hung out with my people for a second, for like an hour. And then I locked in. I texted Car. I said, we got work to do, baby. And so from like 10 o'clock to like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I grinded, I worked, I got things together. Yep, I was just sitting there blinking. I got things together and I started sending stuff to him. And then I went and got in the shower and I went to sleep. And it was a great day. It was a great day. Slept and worked. And then I woke up this morning and then I worked out and let the cleaners in to clean my place. And that was it. And then I was back here. Somebody said I went to sleep. That wasn't a nap. It was relaxing. I don't even remember the last time because I had intended to live stream last night. And I said, if I don't wake up in enough time to be able to live stream, then it just is what it is. It's my day. And so I got a lot of sleep yesterday and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. So that was my birthday, right? Everything was cool. Everything was dope. I wasn't checking I was off the phone. I wasn't checking no messages. I wasn't checking no emails. I did check it from my guy. From my car dealer. He called me and he was like, happy birthday. I got him to where he can get through on Do Not Disturb. Oh, then Tasha K hit me up. And I'm like, okay, cool. All right. And he says, I wanted to wish you a happy birthday, my friend. And I said, thank you. He said, your car should be here very soon. I said, oh, yeah, like a month? He said, no, like a week. Oh, man. So that should be interesting. Anyways, what else? What y'all got going on? You know what the interesting part about this is like taking naps and enjoying life and stuff while you still working and getting stuff done. Is that you are completely removed from what everything else is talking about. You would just be surprised. You would be surprised. You like that LV shirt on Tasha K? You would be surprised what you are not aware of. And what's going on? You would just be absolutely surprised. And you know what else? And we about to get into the show now because it's enough of y'all here. So we need to do housekeeping and get things popping. You know what else? I am happy living. I realized how much happier I was living offline because I was vlogging the day before yesterday for the Patreon because I was giving y'all a tour of what was going on in the streets as far as like my new builds and stuff. I'll give y'all a little bit of a glimpse of what's happening because this is going to be dropping exclusively on the Patreon. We back vlogging again. So this is the latest and the greatest. So this is the new build. All right. So I'm going to bring y'all up to speed on that. I did a whole tour walkthrough. This is the new build right here. And then if I swipe over one more time, that's the blueprint for it. So I was showing y'all that. And you can see the 3 windows. So if y'all can see it right. If you see it right there, you see the 3 windows right there at the top. And then if you go through to the actual thing, you can see it right there. So that's the manifestation of it. So that's the latest build that I'm working on. So I'm gonna bring y'all up to speed on that inside of the Patreon, and we'll talk about that. And then I actually take y'all through and walk y'all through the actual framing of it from start to finish. That's what all of this is right here. And so I'll bring y'all up to date on that inside of the Patreon. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Dame Lee says you got to talk about All-Star JR. You know about that? What you know about that? I got to talk about All-Star JR. What is there to talk about? What do you want me to talk about? What is there to talk about it? It's Detroit versus everybody. It is what it is. It's all love, all support from my Detroit brethren. Shout out to All-Star JR. A lot of people don't know that he come from the streets. He come from the east side of Detroit. And so shout out to him. They out there in Houston, following Jay Prince Jr., being crash dummies and all of that stuff. And so we all in support of each other. It's up for everybody everywhere in every industry and in any capacity. So that's what it is. That's what it is. And ain't nothing else to say. It ain't nothing else to say. Shout out to the east side. Shout out to the west side. Shout out to everybody in Metro Detroit. Shout out to all of that. All right. Chick-fil-A shooting in New Jersey. If that's what I'm gonna talk about a lot of stuff today. So over the next couple days, I did hear about that. I didn't have it on the docket today, but if we don't get to it today, then we're gonna get to it tomorrow. All right. So we got a lot to talk about. Why NFL players don't get rich, Meta's new AI model. Trump gives an update while getting DoorDash from McDonald's. New York taxes leading to an accident. JD Vance did an interview with Fox News in which he explained exactly why negotiations failed with Iran. USPS, the United States Postal Service, got a cash crisis. Russia is shutting down their own internet. Metro workers killed over in Chicago, or I'm sorry, Washington, D.C. I don't know if it was Washington or Chicago, so we'll get to that. And it's a few other stories. It's a woman that went over, I think, to Tanzania with her white husband or something like that, and everybody is saying that they think that he killed her because we're gonna talk about that on After Hours too. So let me put that on a list. Give me a second. So it's some local news. It's a bunch of stuff that's going on, and the Chick-fil-A, all of that type of stuff. So I got a bunch of stuff that we can get through. Oh, the congressman that's resigning. He was running for California governor, and he's also choosing to resign also. Ashley Janae. Shout out to you, champion Chuck. Ashley Janae. So I'm going to cover the influencer story also, all right? Lex, all right, bet. I'm going to check my text. What up, Lex? What up, everybody? So again, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me acknowledge some of the super chats and the cash apps, and we'll get started with the show. Again, we got a lot to cover today, so it's going to be dope. Shout out to Hassan Hibbert. He sent me $44 for my 44th birthday yesterday afternoon, and so I want to make sure that I acknowledge him. Thank you, my friend. Thank you to everybody that sent me birthday wishes, sent me cash, super chats, all of that. It does not go unnoticed. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to my dog Mike, that dude that always hold me down as usual. Spencer Campbell says, good morning, AD and the Bag Chaser. Shout out to Spencer Campbell. I appreciate you also, big dog. Let's see what we got here. Congratulations on the Tasha K interview. I hope that interview can put all of the messy stuff to rest. I don't care whether it goes to rest or not. I just like continuously being in the algorithm. I mean, I'm gonna keep it popping. I'm gonna keep it entertaining. I'm gonna keep it G. That's why I went on the platform in the first place. But I think that the interview was dope because we talked about way more than that. Of course, people are going to focus on the stuff that is salacious, but we talked about spirituality. We talked about whether or not gay people should have kids. We talked about money, celebrity, fame, visibility. We talked about a lot of stuff. So there was a lot of substance in that interview. And I don't know if everybody caught it, but it was a really, really, really good interview. So if y'all haven't checked that out, you're more than welcome to do so on Tasha K's channel. But shout out to Eric Harris. I appreciate you. Chip Burner says Trump knocked off the Middle East oil plugs, forcing the world to buy more oil from the West, and I'm all for it. Appreciate you, Chip Burner. Let me see what else is going on. Hold on, let me look at something really quickly. I see everybody's views is starting to drop off. Stimmy pack is up, huh? The STEMI pack is up. Everybody's starting to fall off. Look like they're going to have to start figuring out how to move around a little bit differently, huh? Oh. Oh. Look like people want more than just talking. They want actual substance and whatever it is that they're streaming nowadays. Oh, everybody views is messed up. Oh man, y'all want me to give y'all another STEMI pack to make sure that I get y'all views and stuff back together? I'm starting to feel bad for people. I am, bro. I'm feeling a little bad for people, bro. And I know I said I wasn't gonna be petty, and that we was gonna be chilling, and we are. I'm not gonna say any names or any type of stuff like that, but I pray that everybody do well. I hope that everybody get their stuff up, get their stuff popping. Oh, we in April? How many views we do in April? Let me see how many views we did in April. I gotta stop being petty, and I promise I'm gonna stop being petty. but I just want to see for myself. April. We did about the same as usual. Did about 56 million views on Anton Daniels. 2.2 million watch hours, around the same as usual. Actually, that's kind of a lower month for me. So I want to be in a higher, I want to be more towards a 60, 70 million views in a month. So we good. We good. We working. We going to work. We going to stay doing what we do. Let them do the low hanging fruit. Let them stay stuck in the mud. We going to stay focused on what we got going on. All right. Never get distracted. Never let anything push you off your square and throw you off. So I got a baby out of wedlock. When? Can I? Who's my when? Interesting. It's look like everybody reaching for straws. look like people are reaching for straws. they grasping for air. Please, Time, give me another stimmy pack. Well, you just gonna have to wait because I'm not ready to release my next scandalous thing yet. I'm working on that one. But this one got to be a little bit more explosive because if it's not, it'll like it got to be organic or else it'll seem manufactured. You got to be careful. So we'll figure it out. All right. What else is new? I heard so much myself I didn't even know. Facts. Anyways, y'all ready to continue on with the show? All right, we got a lot to cover, so we got to get to it. Nothing left to it but to do it. Love how you're in finance. I got a lot of like cybersecurity pitches and stuff like that and all of that. So shout out to Chip Burner. I appreciate you. Jason Johnson says, are you ready for the information that I have on Gavin Newsom did in July 1986 coming in January 2027? I mean, if you got something that you want me to read and look over, you're more than welcome to send it to my email, antondaniels413@gmail.com. But I really don't care about July of 1986. I was four in July of 1986. So I'm not really sure that that's meaningful to me. The C10 King says, yo, happy belated birthday. AD, mine's a Sunday. Aries to the front. AD, wanted to know your thoughts on revocable trusts. We could talk about it in the Patreon. Happy birthday, bro. Happy birthday to you. Upcoming Sunday. Shin C is in the building. Shout out to Shin C. Quezzy says, happy belated birthday, AD. Let's get to work. All right, I'm on it. Shin C, did you talk about Chick-fil-A shooting in New Jersey? I can. Billie Jean ain't our lover. Yeah. What up, Lex? All right, y'all. The first thing that I wanted to talk about now, we're going to kick this off a little weird. We're going to kick the show off a little weird today. Let's get to it.
Fox 11, a young woman's cry for help, a shocking arrest, and a family's fight for justice. Tonight, why her loved ones say they won't stop until her voice is heard.
Gina Sillis joining us now with more on this. Gina.
That's right. This is a very disturbing case involving allegations of sexual abuse and incest. The victim's family is seeking justice, and they're turning to the public for help, urging supporters to pressure the Ventura County District Attorney to take this case to trial.
She was just such a sweet, loving, kind person.
When Michaela Settles.
Why do y'all all look like that?
She was just such a sweet, loving.
What is up with women? Like, is there an obsession with bull nose rings? I don't understand it. I know we're going to get to this. I'm literally looking at this and I'm reacting to it in real time. But what is the obsession with bull nose rings? Why? I don't get it. Why do y'all have to have something right here to what is that? Is that like do y'all look at that and be like, you know what, this is a good style choice? or what? I don't understand it. And it don't matter what race you are, what age you are. I seen older women with it, younger women with it. And do what you want to do. Listen, you can pop off. I ain't tripping. But it's like everybody got it right here, right here. Like, I don't mind a nose ring or whatever. I don't really care. It don't matter. It's all fun times.
Person.
When Michaela Settles turned 18, she moved from North Carolina to Moorpark, California to live with her biological father, Stephen Vincent Chavez. 2 days later, her family says she called, terrified and asking for help.
It was just the fear in her voice, her crying. You know, I didn't need details. I knew something was wrong. And I said, I'm on the way.
Still in town, Carolina Sandoval says she rushed to Chavez's home, desperate to find out what was wrong with her daughter. When she saw her, it broke her heart.
She's just like, she's barely walking. Like she's just, you know. And so finally, like, my brother literally like just picks her up, like he hugs her.
Michaela was taken to a hospital and a rape kit was performed. According to the family, the results came back positive for Stephen Vincent Chavez's DNA. He was arrested that same night, charged with incest, taking advantage of a position of trust, and providing alcohol to a minor. Her cousin Crystal Sandoval was in shock.
I was screaming, I was crying. I just kept thinking, why would he do that to her? Why would he do that to her? I knew that this wasn't something that she could come back from.
Crystal was right. 5 months later, Michaela died by suicide.
If I'm being 100% honest, it feels like I handed my daughter to the devil.
Whoa. 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 That is insane, bro. Yo. Let me hear the rest of the story.
Carolina says this is what Chavez texted her the night Michaela was taken to the hospital. I'm never drinking liquor again. I don't want that blackout to happen again.
You aren't blacked out. Like, you're using that as an excuse.
The family says there's another devastating blow. They say the Ventura County DA's office has told them the case against Chavez may not go to trial because Michaela is no longer alive to testify.
The DA was essentially saying, we don't know if we have a case because she's no longer here. And when she told me that, I immediately said, no, we're not gonna let that slide.
Think about the worst thing a father could do to his daughter.
Determined to get justice, Crystal took to social media. Her videos went viral, and now hundreds are promising to show up to Chavez's next court hearing scheduled April 21st in Ventura County.
He took her sunshine away and just kind of broke her soul.
The Ventura County District Attorney's Office issued the following statement. We have seen the posts online and want to let the public know that our sexual assault unit continues to prosecute the defendant for this extremely serious crime. This case has been filed since July 2025, when the evidence supported the filing of felony charges. As with any case, prosecutors file charges based on the evidence. Now, despite that statement you just read, there is no guarantee that the case will go to trial, and since the family has already been told that's a possibility, they are very upset about that and they're concerned.
Yo, listen. I'm always going to step on and say, I'm always going to say that, you know, innocent until proven guilty. I have to say that because if it's even a slight possibility that it wasn't that, then we have to acknowledge that. I have to acknowledge that. I have to say that. That's number one. Number two, because I never, ever want to convict somebody that's innocent. I don't know. I'm just going based off of what the news is reporting. And I also understand that the news can slant stuff to make a story more salacious. All right. So I don't know. All I have to go based off of is what's being communicated. Under the assumption that this is something that really happened, and that he actually did this. All right. And that this little girl committed suicide. What they say, she was 18 or something, that she committed suicide. Eric Harris says DNA prove it's him, AD. Probably. I don't know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm going based off of what's being communicated from the news, right? Oh, y'all want to debate so bad. Y'all want to be on the opposite end of the spectrum so bad. Bro, you off on that. What am I off on? I said innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. If there's a slight possibility that it wasn't him, then that's cool. And I haven't even got to the second part of my statement. How am I off and you haven't even heard the second part of the statement? How? How am I off? What am I off about? I haven't even given an opinion yet. I haven't even said what my thoughts are. Anyways, like I was saying, if there's even the slightest possibility, then I think that they need to present that evidence in court, because I'm not going to go based off of what somebody says. I would love for the prosecution to actually see this through and present the evidence of the rape kit in court, because what I don't understand is, why do they not have enough evidence to prosecute if they conducted a rape kit and they got a statement from her and they took her to the hospital and they made a police report? I'm trying to understand the correlation between how the law prosecutes, because it's so weird how they can send Bill Cosby or any other person to jail based off of hearsay from 30 and 40 and 50 years ago. But they can say that we're reserving the right to prosecute just because the girl committed suicide, when they've already done a rape kit, already gathered the evidence. Why do you need somebody to testify in order to prosecute, is what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is, I would love to see the evidence presented in court. And I'm trying to figure out what the gap is between getting prosecuted based off of hearsay with no evidence versus being prosecuted with evidence, but the person is not necessarily there to testify. And that's what I'm trying to understand. How do we have a different set of rules? Is it based off of the state? Is it based off of the county? Is it based off of the judge? Is it based off of different rules of law that then applies here, but it don't apply there? And that's what I'm trying to understand, and why I think it's important for you to still go through with the prosecution. And I think that the problem a lot of times is, if they don't feel like they can get a conviction 100%, then sometimes they won't even charge the case, because a lot of prosecutors don't want to mess up their record, because it then will reflect badly on them when they start to move into the private sector. And so when we talk about these subjects, it's more than letting our emotions go through the motion and feel some type of way, because we all feel bad about the possibility that this young girl was raped. We all feel bad about her and this whole incest situation. The fact that it's your father makes it 200 times worse. 200 times worse. It's bad enough that we got predators that's out here hunting for people on a regular basis that they don't know. But this is supposed to be your blood. This is supposed to be the person that carries your DNA. It's 2,000 times worse because of that. $2,000 times worse. But again, I would like to see the evidence presented, because somebody telling their story is much different than what they're able to prosecute in court. And if they're only not able to prosecute it based off of the fact that she can't testify, then that means that we need different laws. That means that we need different laws. If the evidence says otherwise, I don't get it. I don't get it. I do not get it. It is weird to me, bro. So weird. That's your daughter. That is your daughter. Somebody says narcissists have a high rate of incest. I don't even know what that means, bro. Anton AD hasn't been rational lately. He's leaning into his biased thoughts. What are my biased thoughts on this one? What is it that I'm biased about? What biased thoughts? This isn't a Democrat versus Republican issue. This isn't a rich versus poor. This isn't a liberal versus conservative. This isn't any of that. What exactly am I biased about in this instance? Kids need to be protected at all costs. I can try to get in touch with the family, absolutely. I think that your bias is showing. And of course, the whole narcissist thing is being overused. If you what a lot of our men need to do, because again, we expect for women to be emotional, and we expect for people to crash out based off of their emotions. That is what's supposed to happen with the family. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I don't even see no men. This is one of the issues that I see happening in this situation. I don't see no men in her family. I don't see no men. All I see is women on the internet saying that this is what happens, this and that, and so on and so forth. Because I'm gonna keep it real with you. Somebody gotta go. No. This is beyond asking a law to prosecute in this type of situation. Somebody gotta go. I don't see no guys in this situation. Where are the men? Where the uncles? Where the brothers? Where the grandfathers? Where the fathers? Where all of these people at? That's really the question that we should be asking ourselves, because I see a bunch of women, right? And they want to crash out, and they supposed to want to crash out. But I don't see no other people that's in this situation that can help us understand what's going on. Where the guys at? Where are the guys at? We, as observers from the outside looking in, are not supposed to have the same sentiment as the family, because we're supposed to remove the emotion to make a logical decision and start thinking logically. And that's why I'm like, yo, I would love to see the evidence. The problem with not prosecuting it is that we would never see the evidence get presented. We would never see the evidence get presented. That's the problem with this whole situation and not prosecuting. And if you can get away with this, even if you present a rape kit, I'm looking at the bigger repercussions and the bigger issues. Is that because we always say when a woman accuses a man of something, then how come you didn't go to the hospital? How come you couldn't do this? How come you didn't do that? I don't know. I don't believe all women and all of this other stuff. Removing him and removing this situation from the equation, we always say that, right? So now, let's say, for example, a woman does go and then she do get the kid and all of this stuff, right? Is that not able to be used in court if you don't have the person that actually says something to? Because that could be an even bigger problem in culture and society if this is proven to be a thing. I think it's just bad all the way around, bro. It's sad. It's bad. It's horrible. It's horrible. And so I think it sets a bad precedence. I think it's so many monsters that's walking around every single day. Every single day. And if somebody gets to the point to where something is so traumatizing to them to where they don't even feel like they can live on this earth anymore because they're so broken as a result of it, then that's even worse. Even worse. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Is that California? Thank you, Daryl Thomas. I appreciate you. It's crazy, bro. It's absolutely crazy. What up, Lex says, by the way, sadly, Chicago is in trouble. Moreover, Detroit. Move over, Detroit. Oh, yeah. Thoughts about gaming stocks? Just wondering if it's a thing. I don't know. I don't like gaming stocks. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Unless you're looking for that to ultimately get acquired, like EA Sports or something like that. I don't like it because it only takes one title to ruin your entire franchise. You know what I'm saying? I don't like gaming stocks. Mimi, shout out to Mimi with the 50 ball, says happy birthday to the GOAT. You have definitely made a huge impact on my life, and I want to give you your flowers today. We love you, my friend. Hashtag room 9. Let's go. Shout out to Mimi. We love Mimi with her wild self. I appreciate you, Mimi. Thank you for holding me down, baby girl. Look at Lex. Before we get into Trump, I want to get into this other influencer. This woman's name was, I don't even remember what her name was. But she was this influencer, and everybody is having this conversation about her. And I'm gonna actually bring this up on Room 9 tonight. But it was this influencer, and apparently she married this white guy. And they went to Zanzibar, and they saying that she killed herself in a hotel after they got into an argument. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. This is what's going on.
On the investigation into the death of Ashley Robinson, her family is demanding answers after the influencer from South Jersey was found dead during a trip to Africa where she had just been engaged. Action News reporter Cheyenne Corinne joining us live in the Satellite Center with more on this heartbreaking story. Cheyenne.
Alicia, well, Ashley Robinson, she actually was raised locally in South Jersey, and now her death in Zanzibar is making headlines across the world. Well, today we spoke to her family in Delaware, who say they aren't getting answers from her fiance or officials in Tanzania about what happened to her.
Uncertainty, mystery, anger, sadness. It's like a part of me has been taken away.
On April 5th, influencer Ashley Robinson, who goes by Ashley Janae on social media, was celebrating her 31st birthday in Zanzibar, Tanzania. She was on the vacation with her boyfriend of 1 year, who popped the question just 2 days before.
We believe that they were in love. We believe that their relationship was genuine.
Birthday in Zanzibar, Tanzania. She was on the vacation with her boyfriend of 1 year, who popped the question just 2 days before.
Y'all doing a lot. Let me say that right now. Volume is low. Audio is low. All right. Let me make sure that I try to fix that real quick. Give me a second. because I want to capture this full story. Everything we do on this show is in real time, so y'all got to give us a little bit of grace. Let me see what's going on. Why do they upload this long form content and they have such bad audio? I don't know if anybody knows, but you can actually adjust the audio in your editing process before you upload it to the internet. This is why I like doing to influencer. This is why I like doing pre-production work, because when you do stuff in real time and you react to stuff in real time, a lot of times it take a little bit more effort. But this is the wave that I think I'm gonna keep right now. All right, I'm about to fix the audio for y'all. We're gonna go into the audio differently. Let me know if this is better for y'all.
Details on the investigation into the death of Ashley Robinson. Her family is demanding answers after the influencer from South Jersey was found dead during a trip to Africa where she had just been engaged. Action News reporter Cheyenne Corinne joining us live in the Satellite Center with more on this heartbreaking story. Cheyenne.
Alicia, well, Ashley Robinson, she actually was raised locally in South Jersey, and now her death in Zanzibar is making headlines across the world. Well, today we spoke to her family in Delaware, who say they aren't getting answers from her fiance or officials in Tanzania about what happened to her.
Uncertainty, mystery, anger, sadness. It's like a part of me has been taken away.
On April 5th, influencer Ashley Robinson, who goes by Ashley Janae on social media, was celebrating her 31st birthday in Zanzibar, Tanzania. She was on the vacation with her boyfriend of 1 year, who popped the question just 2 days before.
We believe that they were in love. We believe that their relationship was genuine.
Ashley's mother says she never would have expected that less than a week later, her daughter would be dead. On April 8th, she says Ashley called, saying she and her fiance got into an argument and were moved to separate rooms. The next day, she received another call, this time from her fiance.
He told me that Ashley did something to herself and that she was being taken to the hospital. I said, what happened when? And he told me it had been 11 hours prior.
Hours later, the luxury hotel the couple was staying at called saying Ashley passed away. According to the hospital's medical report, Ashley had an unidentified mark around her neck. They wrote, quote, according to the husband, he found she hanged herself on the door with several question marks.
Sometime Jill went back to the room with security, and that's how they found her.
Ashley was also...
She hanged herself on the door? Like on the wire? Like how Avon's nephew supposedly hanged himself on the door? Man, listen, bro. Listen. I'm going to keep the same energy. It's innocent until proven guilty. However, it's not looking good. It doesn't sound good at all. No way, no how. You're never going to sell me or get me to believe that somebody hung themselves on the door. That's hold on. This is not a small girl. This is not a small girl. Respectfully. And I'm not dissing her or anything. I'm not saying it like she's fit. She looks good, the whole 9 yards. But I'm saying that she's not a small girl. I don't know how you hang yourself on a door. How do you hang yourself on a door? Do they in Zanzibar, do they got stronger doors? Why would she hang herself on the door?
She hanged herself on the door with several question marks.
Sometime Jill went back to the room with security, and that's how they found her.
Ashley was also taken to a second hospital, who listed her cause of death as cerebral hypoxia by strangulation and suffocation.
She's never done anything that would ever lead me to believe that she would do something to harm herself.
She was not just going to be discarded and forgotten about.
And the family, as you just heard, they are just desperate for information. They tell us that they are requesting surveillance footage from the resort. They also say that they have contacted police, the consulate, and embassy, and have not heard back. No Action News, we also tried to contact Ashley's fiance, and we also did not get a response. The family says their next steps are going to Zanzibar themselves to try to get answers. We're live in the Satellite Center. Cheyenne Curran, Channel 6. Action News, Rick.
All right, Cheyenne, thank you for that report.
I'm looking at all of her videos and stuff like that on X and social media and all of this other type of stuff. Let me pull her up on Instagram real quick, because this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Let me see. Ashley Janae. Yep, this is her. Let me go and pull up her Instagram. AirDrop. I need to sign into Instagram on this Yep, this is her. This is her and her zaddy. She's pretty. I'm pretty sure a lot of these new followers came as a result of this story right here. Flying, looks like this is not Delta One, but whatever airline, it's the equivalent of Delta One. Obviously, this is the post where they got engaged. It was doing it for the gram. Happy birthday, Ashley. She bad. She fit in that. It's fit as hell. Where is this at? Whatever game is that she's at, she got her Chanel purse right there. Going skiing, flowers. And I'm pretty much everybody was saying the same thing. Yeah, I'm about to get me a white man. I'm about to get this. I'm about to get that. I don't know what this guy does for a living, but looks dreamy. Looks absolutely dreamy. Now, can we get to the brass tacks of things? Can we get to the brass tacks of things? Because see, now I don't know if y'all ready to have the uncomfortable conversation. Of course, I'm going to introduce this on After Hours, and I want to get everybody's perspective. So that should be popping tonight. But do we want to get to the brass tacks of things? Now that we've mourned and we say, yo, I don't know if she actually killed herself and all of that, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. That's not even my concern. It's my concern when it came to the young girl that supposedly got raped by her father in the first one. But I'm going to keep it 100 with you. That's not even my concern in this situation. I pray for the family. I hope that they figure out what happens. I don't want him to be accused of something that he didn't do if he didn't do it. I don't know if he did it or he didn't do it, right? But let's be 100. Number one. All right. All that glitter ain't gold. All that glitters ain't gold. Y'all gonna get enough of letting these people play in your face on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of these places. And see, this is the difference between Yep, I'm gonna throw myself in there as a comparison because there can be no better comparison because my name is Algorithm Daniels. This is the difference between me and everybody else. People that really live it and is really showing you the truth versus the people that's presenting it to you on Instagram. Anybody can present to you this on Instagram. Anybody can do all of this, right? All of that, that's cute. It's a difference between being 20 plus years in the game and everybody trying to present to you an image so that they can sell you on the idea that you should follow them on Instagram and TikTok. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen people take pictures and they be arguing and fighting and don't even like each other in real life. When I hear people try to give advice on why you should be with this guy, you should get with this type of guy, high value man and all of that, I want to know that you've actually been able to, at any point in your life, achieve a level of success because your presentation layer don't hold up when we start to mine it out and see what's really happening behind the gold plated. What's under that? I want to see what's under that. What's under that? I need to see you got 10 years in the game, 20 years in the game before you start. Like, we can all have an opinion, right? I'm with it. I'm with an opinion. But before you start coaching and start giving advice, I need to know that y'all wasn't being separated and put in separate rooms because y'all couldn't get along. The gram don't mean nothing to me no more. The gram doesn't mean anything to me anymore. I'm telling you, I cannot tell you. See, y'all met what we got going on in real life. I am not taking the gram into consideration at all to determine whether or not somebody is in a great relationship, whether they got money, if they live in a life they supposed to live. It's about 97% fake all day long. And I'm not telling y'all that y'all can't post y'all kids or post y'all chick or post your man or whatever. But what I am saying is stop taking that as credibility for whether or not somebody is really popping off or whether or not they happy. I need to see that you've been down and holding it down. I need to see that you've been down and holding it down. Secondly, stop acting like anything and anyone is a monolith. Stop generalizing. What do you mean by saying stop generalizing, Anton? I'm saying that y'all keep saying stuff like, get you a white man. Now, there's nothing wrong with white men or black men or any of that. But guess what? Y'all never say get somebody with good character. You say get somebody with some money. You never say get somebody that's equally yoked. You say get you a high value man. None of y'all care about the things that actually matters inside of a relationship. You don't care. You don't care if they're a good mother or if you get father. You only care if they're a baddie. You don't care if they're a devil worshiper, if they worship God or none of that type of stuff. The only thing you care about is if they're generous. You don't care about whether or not they, like, none of it, none of the things that are meaningful in order to develop a great relationship and stay married is meaningful. And that's why I think that we are over here in the Bag Chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. It's credible. I don't listen. I'm my own advice. That's it. I don't think that, man, I don't know. I haven't been listening to what everybody else is talking about. I don't care if you're an NBA player. I don't care what you got going on. I can't think of nobody right off the top of my head that can give better advice on how to sustain a relationship long-term than myself, because I actually have done it in real life with no children out of wedlock. Nobody cares about the person. They only care about what they can get from the person. And that's why the presentation layer on Instagram is trash, because nobody is actually keeping it 100 about what they going through in order to get to that other side and compromise, because that's not the person that they're supposed to be with. Let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something. For my ladies, I'm going to give y'all some advice. The most important characteristic of a person, I'm going to give you the top 5 things that you should be looking for when you get into a relationship. And I'm not talking about getting buzzed down. All right. I'm talking about you're actually trying to be with a person that's best for you for the rest of your life. And maybe it won't work for you because you're too stuck in your ways, but maybe you can tell your people and your daughter and she'll make a better decision than you. All right. First thing that you need to look for is if y'all are equally yoked and on the same page spiritually, because if you believe one thing and they believe a completely different thing, it's never going to work. Whatever you are, right? Hopefully y'all believe in Jesus, but I know that everybody don't believe in Jesus. So I'm going to keep it very general. You can't be a Muslim and then she be a Christian. She can't not believe in God and then you a fervent believer and you love prayer. That's not going to work. It's never going to work. And y'all more concerned with what somebody do for a living than whether or not they even believe in God. Y'all got to be going and trending in the same direction. If you're not, then it's not going to work. All right. That's the first thing. The second thing is character. Character is always going to be the thing that defines you. Character is always going to be the thing that defines you. Notice how I haven't said money yet, right? Character. Are you a good person? That's going to be the difference between whether you get strangled in your hotel room once they get mad, because everybody is a good person when everything is good. We just got done watching What's Love Got to Do with It. And when she sang Ike, he seemed like a good person when he was singing on stage, then handing the microphone to all of the different people. And he came to her house and, hey, mama, what's going on, Miss Lady? I would like to take your daughter to the studio to record. You can't even determine whether or not a person is a good person or if they have decent character. You ain't got to be perfect. You can have some flaws, but whether or not they have decent character until you've seen them in situations in which y'all are not romantically linked. That's why you have to be around people and you have to surround yourself with people, and you can't date based off of a dating app, because a dating app is not going to show you what a person's true character is. It's going to be the presentation layer of the shallow side of a person. What am I saying? I mean that you got to be around somebody or observe them and how they treat their mama and whether or not they go to work every day and whether or not they actually, how do they react when they get mad and all of this other stuff, right? That's the way that they're going to treat you. That's why you say, listen, birds, they lay a lot of eggs, meaning it's a lot of women getting pregnant out of wedlock. What makes me think that you're a better person with me when you got 3 baby daddies that you couldn't get along with and they all say you a funky bee? He beat on his last chick, but he not going to beat on you though, right? He can't control himself and his anger ultimately leads him to crashing out and tearing everything up, but he not going to do that with you because he changed just because he changed with you. We got to get the layers off of our eyes and start seeing more clearly. Work ethic. Work ethic is a number 3, and this is in no particular order. Work ethic, because it don't matter whether you got it or not. You can refine it, you can lose. I know people that fail a lot of times but they hits be hidden. And so you're going to go through things in life. It's going to be some ups. It's going to be some downs. You're going to, fall off. You're going to get back on. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to make some investments. The work ethic. A person that's determined to win, that got a mindset of a winner and they willing to do whatever it takes to win as far as grinding and hustling, that's a person that you can trust and that you can believe in. You can follow that dude. You can follow him Regardless of y'all circumstances, he gonna get it. He's gonna figure it out. And that's why you ain't got to worry about money, especially in the very early stages. Now, if you 50 and you still broke, miss me, bro. You already should have some fruit. We're not talking about 50-year-olds. We're talking about 20-year-olds. All right? 30-year-olds. Once you get to about 35, we need to start showing some fruit. Otherwise, you need to sit this one out, champ. Whether they're ethical. An ethical person, a non-ethical person is going to, if they willing to cut corners and rob this person or shade this person, if y'all was ever to be going and getting a divorce or breaking up or going your own separate ways, what makes you think he gonna treat you well? What makes you think that they're going to be a good person to you? Huh? Because an op is an op, and the minute that they say that I don't love you no more, you no longer gonna even be in the conversation. Ain't no amicable, ain't no let's work it out, ain't no hey, I'm gonna make sure you good. All of that stuff that they promised you when y'all was inside of each other, that's gonna be out the window. That was just a spirit of moment type of situation. Spirit of moment type of situation. I'm gonna save the last one for after hours tonight. So make sure y'all tap into after hours. Link is in the link is on the profile. After hours is gonna be popping tonight. We're gonna revisit this. It's unfortunate that she lost her life, but there is no one size fits all solution. A white person with money could be a bad person behind closed doors. A white person with money could be a good person behind closed doors. A black person without money can be a bad person behind closed doors because people get angry when they broke. And a black person with money can be a good person, bad person. There is no monolith. There's good and bad in every single aspect of life. No matter what class you go into, upper class, middle class, lower class, super rich, there's good super rich people, there's bad super rich people. There's bad poor people and there's good poor people. There is no monolith when it comes to being able to determine it. So when y'all using these general terms, get you a white man, he's no different and no better than a black man. The difference is their character. The difference is their spiritual beliefs. The difference is the context and how they was raised. All right. Is good black men with money is bad black men with money. Is good white men with money is bad white men with money. So we can see the shallow stuff. We can see the presentation layer. The thing that you should be trying to mine out with the people that's in your life is all of the other intangibles that really matter. That's going to determine whether y'all going to have a good life or whether it's going to be painful having this transactional relationship. What's love got to do with it? When forget all of the tigers and all of that stuff, all right? Tigers is only going to be cool if they don't maul you. Tigers are cool if they don't maul you. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. What's love got to do with it? Amethyst Angel says it sounds like the defense is proposing to have her testify so they can use her age to show she's over dramatizing. She was of tender age at the time of the events is diabolical. I agree. That was diabolical. Long Way ENT says Detroit versus everybody. All-Star ball hard. Shout out to All-Star JR. The ATL Flipper says Pastor Daniels. Where's the Bag Chasers First Baptist Church of Detroit located again? You're right. It's the difference between morality and ethics. It's right here, baby. First Baptist Ebenezer. I'm sounding like Al Sharpton right now. First Baptist Ebenezer Church of the city of God. Amen. Hallelujah. Woo! Because you need to
go out and get you a good man that loves God. Not just a man, but a man that loves God, because man's hearts are evil. 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 Get you a good man that pays his tithes and is paying his offering. Jason Jocelyn says Lakers will win the NBA Finals. I take that bet. TS Car Wash and Detail Services thoughts on private jet company suing Floyd. I don't know anything about it. Y'all got to send it to me. You got to send it to me. Send it to me. All right. So we've addressed ladies making bad decisions with who it is that they decide to get into a relationship with. It's unfortunate. JD Vance to employees alleged in Dallas. We get to Meta. We're going to save Meta and why football players go broke for the end, because we always get to the money last. JD Vance reveals why talks with Iran didn't end in a deal. I'm looking at this for the first time, just like you guys. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me see what's happening out here on the streets. I'm going to read y'all super chat shortly. All right.
Islamabad. Joining us now, Vice President J.D. Vance. Mr. Vice President, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
What happened, and where do we go from here?
Well, first of all, Brett, I wouldn't just say that things went wrong. I also think things went right. We made a lot of progress, but we also made very clear, and I think this is part of the progress we made, what the terms where the United States could make some accommodation, what terms we were flexible on, and what things we absolutely needed to see in order for the President of the United States to feel like he was getting a good deal. And so we laid those things out. We had some good conversations. I think it was the first time that you had ever seen the Iranian government, the U.S. government meet at such a high level, maybe in the history of the current leadership of Iran. So that's, I think, a positive. And again, we did make some progress in the negotiation. The big question from here on out is whether the Iranians will have enough flexibility.
Thank you,
whether
Heather.
the Iranians will accept the critical things that we need to see in order for things to get done.
Well, what are the red lines, like, for Iran, and what didn't they accept? Why are we at the place we're at now?
Yeah, so back out just a little bit, Brett. What the President of the United States has said is, number one, Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. So all of our red lines flow from that fundamental premise, because it is one thing for the Iranians to say that they themselves are never going to have a nuclear weapon. They are willing to say that, and that's good. But you have to, of course, verify these things. And there are two things in particular where the President of the United States really said we have no flexibility. We have to get to the outcome that the President said. On the first of those things, what some people call the dust, which is the enriched uranium that the Iranians currently possess, we have said that we want that to come out of their country, and we would like to take possession of it. Now, why does that matter? That doesn't matter, of course, because they have access to that material now. That material was actually buried underground by Operation Midnight Hammer. But if you think about this over the long haul, the president doesn't want to leave the next president or the president after that to be worrying about this program. And so we would like to get that material out of the country completely so that the United States has control of it. That's number one. And the second thing is that, again, to this point about verification, it's one thing for the Iranians to say that they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. It's another thing for us to put in place the mechanism to ensure that's not going to happen. Part of that is, of course, to ensure that they don't have the ability to enrich uranium, which is how they got so close to a nuclear weapon before. So those are really the two things where, frankly, the Iranians, I think, did make some progress. They moved in our direction, which is why I think we would say that we had some good signs, but they didn't move far enough. And so what we decided is, you know what? given that we don't think this current team and this current timeline is going to be able to make a deal, let them go back to Tehran. We're going to go back to Washington, and that's where we are today.
So
what JD Vance is insinuating is that, and I'm saying insinuating, and I'm using that loosely, because he's saying it without saying it, and I'm pretty sure that there's some things that he can't say that would ultimately jeopardize the negotiations, is that he's not saying that Iran is not agreeing to the terms that is being proposed by Trump. He's saying that Iran, as far as like not developing a nuclear weapon, he's saying that they want mechanisms in place to verify that they are not secretly still doing the same thing that they were doing before, that there is no access to this enriched uranium at the moment, but at the same time, they don't want any kind of future issues. And they want to put things in place to ensure, and I don't know what kind of checks and balances. I actually mentioned this and talked about this yesterday. How would you ensure that they're not trying to enrich uranium and that they wouldn't ultimately be working towards getting a nuclear weapon, right? How can you trust them? What kind of checks and balances goes into place to ensure that this doesn't happen? And so that is my translation of what he's saying without necessarily saying all of the every details, because he's going into detail as far as what the proposal is. I'm not sure if Iran is okay with the U.S. actually taking away the enriched uranium. I'm not sure if part of the negotiation and the issue is that they don't want the U.S. inside of what they have going on, because that could ultimately deter them from being able to do other things besides trying to achieve a nuclear weapon. But he's not leaving off the table the possibility that a deal can still be struck. Let's go back and hear what he has to say.
A next step is, are there more talks coming? Do they happen in Pakistan, and are you leading them?
Well, it's an interesting question, Brett, and I think fundamentally it's a question that would be best put to the Iranians, because the ball really is in their court. We've made clear where we're willing, again, to be accommodating, and we've made clear where we absolutely need to see the nuclear material come out of the country of Iran. Now, what's interesting, Brett, about this is that in the process of doing this negotiation, I do think that we acquired some knowledge about how the Iranians are negotiating. And this is ultimately why we left Pakistan, because what we figured out is that they were unable, I think the team that was there was unable to cut a deal, and they had to go back to Tehran, either from the supreme leader or somebody else, and actually get approval to the terms that we had set. So again, whether we have further conversations, whether we ultimately get to a deal, I really think the ball is in the Iranian court, because we put a lot on the table. We actually...
So translation, all right, I'm going to break this down from a C student's perspective. The deal makers, or the actual people that make the decision, right? We were talking to the gatekeepers because they probably don't feel comfortable meeting with us after they blew us up and all of the other 50 Iranian leaders, including the supreme leader, before, when they got us all together. That's how they killed all of them at the same time, is that all of those leaders were all in the same place at the same time, which is another reason why Tucker Carlson probably was hurt, because he probably was the go-between in a way to ensure that nothing was going to happen to the Iranians once they got into negotiations with the U.S., which then led to their supreme leader getting killed and several other people getting killed. But they didn't send the people that they would consider to be in charge there, because they didn't want themselves to get wiped off the face of the planet again. And so they got to go back and tell their leaders and tell their bosses what happened, so that they can make sure that they can cut a deal.
Made very clear what our red lines were. We also made clear, Brett, that we actually would be very happy. The President of the United States has said he would be very happy if Iran was treated like a normal country, if it had a normal economy, if its people were able to prosper and thrive. But in order for Iran to be a normal country economically, it's going to have to be a normal country from the perspective of not pursuing a nuclear weapon, and it's going to have to be a normal country from not pursuing terrorism. And so,
Hey, what happened to you, bro? You used to be a regular. It seemed like ever since I held you accountable like a year ago, now you extreme. Now everything that you say is AD likes death. What does that even mean, bro? Why would you say that? It's like, you know, some of y'all mask fell off when I didn't make y'all feel good about some of the things that we disagreed about. But y'all need to have thicker skin. Don't lash out. Don't be emotional. Don't say crazy stuff just because you don't like the fact that I disagree with you about some things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to put your big boy pants on. Come on, man. Don't be emotional. We had a difference of opinion. You used to be on my team. You used to be all on my socks. Yeah, Anton. Yeah, man, I love you. I rock with you. Now, every time you pop up in the chat, you feeling some type of way, bro. I still love you. I still love you. I still rock with you. We still good. You know what I'm saying? All of that, man. But you gotta let that one situation where I handed you your ass, you gotta let that go, bro. You gotta let that go. You gotta not be emotional when it comes to making an informed decision sometimes, and stop. You know, we all are emotional, but we can't let our emotions control us. You know what I'm saying? Keisha said he misspoke, AD. No, he typed exactly. Listen, when you type stuff and you hit send, he didn't delete it. He put it out there and he hit send. That's what he really felt. He didn't know that I was going to bring him to the front of the congregation and had his conversation. So now we're going to say he misspoke. You can misspoke. You can misspeak. You can't mistype. I could say something, but you know what? That didn't come out right. That didn't sound right. You knew what you typed before you typed. He said, but I'm with you 80%, not with death. Who said anything about celebrating death? That's the part. That's how I know, again, that y'all emotional. Nobody is celebrating death. I'm simply stating the facts of what happened when it came to the attack and the killing of the supreme leader. I didn't do it. I didn't send no missiles. I didn't kill the supreme leader. All I'm doing is telling you what happened and why they probably sent they second and third in charge. What's the problem? Oh man, listen, they want me to make sure that I have a stoic position and that I'm sorrowful. You know what, guys? Let's lower the flag, half staff, the supreme leader. Oh my God, I can't believe it, or whatever, so on and so forth. Come on, man. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop. I'm not gonna stop enjoying the show. I'm not gonna stop entertaining. I'm not gonna stop doing none of that. Now, if y'all want to feel some type of way about the supreme leader and all of their friends getting killed over in Iran, because that's a part of what an attack and what war was, then take that up with the administration. Don't take it up with me. I don't know what to tell you.
There really is, I think, a grand deal to be had here, but it's up to the Iranians, I think, to take the next step.
I hear you talking about the enriched uranium and the nuclear weapon and the inability for them to have one in the long term. I don't hear you mentioning fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz toll-free. Is that one of the red lines?
Well, it's one of the things we talked about, Brett, is that we need to see the Straits of Hormuz fully open. And this is frankly one of the things where the Iranians tried to move the goalposts during the negotiation. We made very clear that that's unacceptable. We came to the negotiations saying the United States, what we've given here is a ceasefire. We've stopped bombing the country. What we expect the Iranians to give up is a full reopening of the Straits of Hormuz. We have seen, as the president has said, some significant uptick in traffic coming through the Straits of Hormuz. That's good for the global economy. It's good for the United States of America as well. but we haven't seen that full reopening. So our expectation is that the Iranians are going to continue to make progress to opening the Straits of Hormuz. And if they don't, it's going to fundamentally change the negotiation that we have with them.
You're not surprised. I mean, the Iranians often talk about negotiations and in a different way. The Iranian foreign minister posted in intensive talks at highest level in 47 years. Iran engaged with the U.S. in good faith to end war. But when just inches away from Islamabad MOU, we encountered maximalism, shifting goalposts, and blockade. Zero lessons earned. Goodwill begets goodwill. Enmity begets enmity. That does not sound like they're heading back to the table anytime soon. Does this ceasefire continue and then the war starts again?
Well, first of all, Brett, I have to give a lot of credit to Field Marshal Munir and the Prime Minister of Pakistan, both who are incredible hosts and I think incredible statesmen, and helping, mediate the conversation between us and the Iranians. Again, two countries that have not really had serious discussions in a very long time. But to your point about Foreign Minister Araghchi's statement, if you see what Foreign Minister Araghchi said, yes, there's a little bit of bluster. But if you read between the lines, he himself is saying that we were just inches away from an agreement.
He did say that. He said that they were inches away from the agreement.
And I think that what that suggests is the Iranians, one, they're very interested in making a deal. Two, they did move pretty close to our position over the stage of the negotiations. But one thing.
Somebody says, why did they send J.D. Vance to negotiate? Y'all also asked that question yesterday, or was it Sunday? Because we live streamed it on Sunday. And for multiple different reasons, including the ones that I gave to y'all on Sunday, and that I think that J.D. Vance is really good in being able to communicate and negotiate and to convey over what Trump really wants him to do. Secondly, the same reason why Iran sent their representatives. That's what Trump did. Trump sent the VP because Trump is not about to be out there. Yes, that's his job. Do you know what the job of the vice president is? The two most important things that the vice president does? Why would Trump go out and put himself at risk to be killed? In a time where they had conflict. That don't make no sense. That's number one. Number two, the vice president, Trump is leveraging the vice president position exactly how it's supposed to be leveraged. It's not supposed to be used in the same way that Biden used Kamala Harris to just sit in the back of an Oval Office and pretend like you actually doing some work, right? He's using him the way that he's supposed to use him. The vice president is an extension of the president. They execute, first of all, they're the president of the Senate. So anytime there's a deal, anytime there's a stalemate and you need a tie-breaking vote, right? Ultimately, the vice president is the one that casts that. Kamala Harris cast more tie-breaking votes than y'all can ever believe when it came to legislation. But again, he is basically an extension of and somewhat of the mouthpiece of the president to convey over exactly what it is that the president wants to do. So why wouldn't he send him? Yeah, that's what they said, Chip. It's crazy. It's crazy. I think it's a great strategy. I think that they'll probably get something popped off, hopefully within the next couple of weeks.
I'll say,
by
Brett,
the time I get back from Brazil.
Is Iranians are very different negotiators. At least those Iranians were very different negotiators than we are in the United States. What I did and what Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff did is that we made very clear, look, these are the things that we're willing to give, but these are the things that we must have. We must have the enriched material out of Iran. We must have their conclusive commitment to not develop a nuclear weapon. And I think that if the
Somebody said they sent him because they said they'll only talk to I'm sorry. DeMarcus. Hey, DeMarcus. All right. Let me guess. You have some intel that we're not aware of. Is that correct, DeMarcus? Do you have some insight? And did Iran somehow, some way give you some intel, you and Tucker Carlson, that we're not aware of? Maybe I should be getting my insight from you instead of tapping into my sources behind the scenes, huh?
Iranians are willing to meet us there, then this can be a
See, y'all
very,
gonna
very
try
good deal
me.
for both countries.
Y'all gonna
If they're
try me in my 44th year around the sun? Okay, I guess the same. More of the same of what we've been dealing with over the last year.
not willing to meet us there, that's up to them. That's their decision. And really, the ball is very much in their court. So you ask what happens next. I think the Iranians are going to determine what happens next as the President of the United States says, we have the cards. We have the military advantage. We now have additional economic pressure that we're applying on them through the blockade that we've imposed on their oil coming out of the Straits of Hormuz. So we have a lot of cards. We have the leverage, and we're going to see what the Iranians do with that.
And so that's how the blockade works. U.S. naval ships stop Iranian-flagged vessels going to the through the Strait of Hormuz?
Not just Iranian-flagged vessels, Brett, but any vessel that we know is going to Iranian ports or has come from Iranian ports. You're probably going to see some vessels try to reflag themselves. But, of course, we're going to know, because we have very good intelligence, which ships are going in and which ships are coming out that are connected to Iran. But, Brett, here's the very interesting thing about all this is that the only thing the Iranians have been able to do, they haven't, of course, beaten us militarily. They've had their military been decimated. They haven't been able to prosecute the case when it comes to weapons of war. What they have done is engage in this act of economic terrorism against the entire world. They basically threatened any ship that's moving through the Straits of Hormuz. Well, as the President of the United States showed, two can play at that game. And if the Iranians are going to try to engage in economic terrorism, we're going to abide by a simple principle that no Iranian ships are getting out either. We know that's a big deal to them. We know that applies additional economic leverage. And again, Brett, the president wants the Iranian people to thrive and succeed. He has had his negotiation team put on the table a serious proposal. The ball is in Iran's court. Did we make progress? Yes. But we're going to find out from the Iranians whether we can make that ultimate bit of progress that gets us to a big deal.
Hopefully, we get a deal soon. Again, I think that J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, who obviously one or the other is going to wind up running for president of the United States of America, and maybe somebody else could run for, their VP. I think that J.D. Vance is probably going to be the front runner, and Marco Rubio is going to be right behind him, and then Marco Rubio is going to be up next. I think that we got a bullpen, and we probably got a lineup for the next 16 years if we can pull it off. But that's J.D. Vance with some more insight on exactly what happened when it came to negotiations with Iran. And he apparently is leaving open a door that, that they'll be able to find a deal sooner rather than later. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats. Chase Barnes says, Pass AD. Shout out to my dog, Chase Barnes. I appreciate you. TS Car Wash and Detail Service says, Jokic season average is 28, 12, and 12. Well, yeah, that's pretty insane. You know what? But the NBA bothers me. I think we do need to have a sports day. Maybe we'll make sports day Sundays or Mondays. Sports day on Monday. That might work. Sports day on Monday. Because I like talking about contracts, negotiations, different things. One of the things that's bothering me about the league right now is you'll spend a bunch of money. I figured it was the last game of the season, and I sold my tickets to, I think we played Milwaukee on our last game. But I figured it wouldn't be much effort. Giannis is sitting out. How much should I sell my tickets for? Pistons tickets. So I sold my tickets for it looks like $1,500. Yep. I sold my tickets for $1,500. But part of the reason why I sold my tickets for $1,500 is because I didn't anticipate it being a lot of motion going on, because they all like to sit out the players towards the end of the year. So I sold my tickets on Ticketmaster because I'm like, I'm not about to go there and watch a bunch of bench players play. But then at the same time, I was thinking to myself afterwards, and I was like, dang, what if somebody bought these tickets or if somebody is buying tickets and they want to take their kid to go and see the game and they purposely sit and star players. I ain't just talking about just Pistons, just like, because Cade played all of the games, right? But like Utah and you purposely sit these players out, Wemby and all of these players. You sit these players out, they're making millions of dollars a year. And sports tickets to go to these games is already high. They already high. And then you sit it out and people can only go to 1 or 2 games in a year. You take somebody to their first game and then they got to watch all bench players. It's like, man, what is going on? The NBA has a problem, a fundamental problem with players sitting out games, tanking. Tanking is one of the biggest problems in the NBA. Tanking and price. Tanking and price. That's why I'm going out, man. I'm getting out the country, bro. I'm not about to be. I'll watch the playoffs from on the plane or something, but I'm out of there, bro. I'm not about to sit there and deal with this nonsense. Jay Keep It Real says, good morning, Bag Chasers. Hope the comedian learns his lesson. I'll leave it at that. You crazy, Jay, keeping it real. Country Boy Finesse says, you hear about that pastor that gave a STD and ordered to pay her $2.45 million in Texas? Nah, I ain't heard about that. It's a lot of news going around about crazy stuff. Send that to me. Email it to me. I haven't seen that. Pastors giving out STDs? How they get an STD in the first place? AD is low-key on the spectrum. Stop it, bro. What am I? How am I on the spectrum? That don't even make sense, long way. TS Car Wash Detail Services, I emailed you the Floyd Jet story. All right, I'm going to see if I can check it out. If I don't cover it today, I'll cover it tomorrow. You got to excuse it. Arturo React says you got to excuse these people, AD. They have only ever seen a Democrat vice president sit around and wait for a president to die to do anything. Never seen a real president in action before. That's fair. Shout out to Arturo. Cute Executive Suite Emily says, JD Vance is a gangster. I remember when he barked on Zelensky in the Oval Office. Yeah, I remember that. Yep. And he told him he was disrespecting the office for not even dressing the way he's supposed to dress. What, K. Cooper? What? That's crazy. All right, so let's move over to Trump. Trump got some DoorDash delivered yesterday, and some of this stuff I don't watch because I have to make sure that I watch it in real time because I want you guys to see in real time what's going on also. But Trump was speaking from the White House yesterday, and he got a DoorDash delivery. And I guess this is what happened. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Let me see what's happening out here in these streets.
Not going to happen.
And Mr. President, on Iran, if the deal is not reached by the end of the ceasefire, does your threat from before still stand?
Yeah, I don't want to comment on that, but it won't be pleasant for them. Let me put it that way.
Do you still plan to charge a toll to use restraining order? Has your timetable changed?
I like the good cop, bad cop thing that JD Vance and Trump is doing.
In any way in terms of ending this conflict?
No, it's going on. Just right now, there's no fighting. Right now, we have a blockade. They're doing no business. I didn't like seeing boats come out if they were doing business with Iran, but if they weren't, no boats came out. So now Iran is doing absolutely no business, and we're going to keep it that way very easily. Don't forget, their Navy is gone, their Air Force is gone, their anti-aircraft is gone, their radar is gone, and their leaders are gone. It's a lot.
Do you still want to charge a
We're coming from predominantly going to China, Mr. President. Has Xi Jinping reached out? I know you're going to be.
No, but we have a very good relationship with China. He would like to see this ended also. He certainly wants it ended. Everyone, I want to see it ended too. But we can't give a nuclear weapon to a group of people that have caused nothing but havoc for 47 years. Look, I'm the president that's done something about it. This should have been, and many other presidents regret that they didn't. So I'm doing something about it.
Ukraine impeachment documents that were just declassified show that Eric Charamella not only submitted false information, but that he had no direct knowledge of the alleged conversation. It was all hearsay. Do you feel vindicated by those?
Yeah, I do. They're a bunch of crooked people. You're talking about with respect to all of the things that they put against me? Yeah. Well, it's come out that in so many different ways. Thank you very much for that question. I appreciate it. But in so many different ways, the election was rigged. The 2020 election was rigged. We found that out. What you just said is just a piece of that. It's a big piece, but minor, relatively speaking, compared to what they did. They cheated in the election. They cheated on the vote. They cheated in every way possible. And it's the only way we got an incompetent man to be a president. And he was an incompetent man. Many of the things that we're talking about, even including this would have been settled a long time ago, not now. And it should have been settled by other presidents. But the election was a rigged election. We can't let that happen to our country.
It's concealment of exculpatory information. What should happen?
Well, it's a very serious charge against them and the Democrats. They cheat. They can't get elected with their policy. So their policy is no good. They want to have, open borders. They want to have men playing in women's sport. Do you think that men should play in women's sports?
I really don't have an opinion on that.
You don't? I'll bet you do.
No, I'm here about
Pizza.
no tax on tips.
Yeah. Okay.
Smart answer. Smart answer. Well, not a smart answer, but a smart answer. She's smarter than most entertainers, and that she doesn't take a position on it at all because she's more focused on continuing to market herself and get the visibility instead of being focused on political stuff. I think that a lot of, maybe not on this particular issue. I mean, this is straightforward. Men shouldn't be in women's sports or in women's bathrooms. But I think that, yeah, she do need her job. She ain't trying to, she ain't trying to say that out loud. But I mean, because it's common sense, right? But my point is that maybe she needs to focus on media training. A lot of these other entertainers like Robert De Niro that got a lot to say instead of just doing whatever it is to get visibility, right? So she's just there to get all of the promotion and get all of that other stuff. What? Anton is due for another downfall. Where did you get that from? Oh man, not you wishing on my downfall. I thought we was talking about updates after Trump got his DoorDash from McDonald's. Why you want me to have a downfall? What? I'm due for another down. When did the first one happen? Did the first one already happen or did I miss that one? What's going on, y'all? Oh man, not the downfall. Please don't do me a downfall. Maybe I missed the first one. If you can remind me, then that'll be. Somebody said, wow, your commenters are wild. You know why my commenters are wild? My 2009, when did I downfall in 2009? I lost everything in 2007, 2008, not 2009. You know why my commenters are wild? 2009 talking head is because I don't mute people. I don't censor people. I don't mute people. I don't get rid of people just because they feel some type of way about me or they want to say something negative about me. I don't do that. The only time I ever send people to the gulag is when they start talking about family members or, when they get super disrespectful in another space. But it's because you've been muted, then why are you talking? It's because I don't believe in censorship. I believe that in my chats, at least, I think everybody else can do whatever they want to do. When you do that in other people's chats, or if they don't disagree with you, they say, get him out of here, mute him, whatever. They operate in an echo chamber. I kind of let everybody get their stuff off because I'm not sensitive about it. The only thing that I want people to do is to not get sensitive when I decide to use them as an example and go back and forth. Then that's when they get emotional, right? When people then start getting emotional and they start talking about, oh man, I don't like you. You came back at me. And it's like, wait a minute. So it's good to you, but it's not good for me. I don't get it. I don't get it. So I'm cool though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a content creator. People are supposed to have differences of opinions and negative perspectives or positive perspectives, and they, it's all a part of the game. It's all a part of the entertainment. I'm not tripping on me, so I'm cool with it. I ain't tripping about it. Let them have their stuff off. Sometimes they got to get their emotions off too. Hey, D, you okay in my book? You just got to work with me. Y'all got to get me together. Y'all got to gather me. Yeah, and they want attention too. So I give them some visibility. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the chat. Chat lives matters. No censorship over here. We love y'all. Now I got to go and talk to my co-hosts over there on room 9. So we're going to get them together. I'm going to go through the day and we're going to figure out, who been censored, and we're going to release y'all. We're going to get y'all back together. All right. Let's see what else they got to say as far as this whole press conference.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Is it your understanding that during this period of time, while the U.S. has instituted this naval blockade, that oil companies will be able to send their oil tankers through the strait, get more oil out from this area?
Yeah, I think they're going to be doing very well there, and I think they're doing very well here. A lot of tankers are coming up here. They're coming in empty and out full. And we have a great capacity to take care of that business.
Ma'am, may we know your name, please? Have you delivered to the White House before?
I have not. My name is Sharon Simmons.
And are the White House good tippers? Do you know?
Wait.
Potentially. Yes, very.
Mr. President, can I ask you something?
That's good. Thank you. You reminded me.
Mr. President, one on Cuba, sir. You previously said that you had no problem with countries sending fuel.
I don't even think that Trump even carry money in any way, shape, or form, bro. Honestly, I don't think that he first of all, DoorDash had to pay for this ad, and McDonald's. If they didn't ship a bag in some way, shape, or form, then this is some of the biggest free promotion and publicity that they ever got. She get all of the visibility because I don't know who she is. Let me see something. DoorDash. Sharon Simmons is the DoorDash grandma. Now everybody is talking about her and they trying to go off on her and stuff like that, huh? Anytime you stand anywhere close to Trump, you are going to get a lot of visibility. And that's just in general. You know what I'm saying? It be people that contact me, Anton, I want to be this. Girls contact me all the time. Anton, I want to be on this new show, this new panel show that you're going to be producing in person and stuff. And I have to warn them. I have to tell them. I say, hey, listen, I don't know if you're really ready to be with a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean? What do you mean I'm not sure if I'm ready? I'm ready. I know. That's what they all say. I don't want you to feel, listen. I got to figure this out. Let me vet you through. Let me put you through your paces. And let's see if you prepared for this. Because everybody say they're ready. You know? I'm ready. This guy is so cringe to the game. That's what people that hate say. That's what they say. That's what every it's always, man, we got so. Oh, he got 5150 in his name. Spies. The spies are out. Oh, you one of them. Hey, listen. If you go to this timestamp, this is when he was talking about you. Spies. Oh, okay. All of the spies are out today. All right, I get it now. I get it. Why would you put that in your profile if you wanted to just kind of move incognito? That's probably him. That's probably the comedian. We never know. We never know. See, y'all got to look for the context clues. They'll tell on themselves. They will tell on themselves. It's crazy.
Previously promising to tariff them. What happened? What changed?
Well, we're going to see with Cuba. Cuba's another story. Cuba's been a terribly run country for a long time. It's got a bad system. It's been very oppressive, as you know. And we have a lot of great Cuban Americans, all of whom just about voted for me. And they were treated very badly. In many cases, family members have been killed. They've been beaten up and mugged, and terrible things happen in Cuba. And Cuba's a failing nation. And we're going to do this. And we may stop by Cuba after we're finished with this. But Cuba is a nation that was just been horribly run for many years by Castro.
You said may stop by
Regulator Bill Pulte, regarding those two recent referrals for Letitia James for insurance fraud. Do you know if federal prosecutors have evidence to charge?
Well, I don't know. I know she's a very corrupt person. And you're talking about the so-called Attorney General of New York. She's a very corrupt person. That's been proven now. And I know they've...
Slimmy, I got a show lined up for the night.
But they're looking at things all over the place, more than one state concerning her and concerning people like Comey, who's a dirty cop. Comey's a dirty cop. And dirty cops are bad. Nobody likes the police more than me, the law enforcement more than me, but Comey's a totally dirty cop. And we're not gonna stand for it. Yeah.
The UFC fight that's happening at the White House this summer. UFC typically numbers those fights consecutively, but should they label this one UFC 1776?
That's a good idea. I'll tell that to Dana White. I like that idea. I will say I've been involved with a lot of big events. I've never had an event that's had more interest in the UFC fight that we have right at the front door. Right there, they're going to start building about a 4,500 seat arena, and then in the back,
that would be dope.
We're going to have maybe 100,000, 50 to 100,000 people. I guess they're building tremendous stages, and you're going to have.
Somebody said, what did he say? He said Trump is rambling. Is that what you said? Oh my God, bruh. BRU. Trump is rambling or starting to at this point be real. No, he's answering questions. Let me tell you what the difference is. All right. I'm Charles. Let me tell you what the difference is. You're not used to somebody answering every question that the media asks. You're not used to somebody that is very transparent with their thoughts as much as they can share. And you're certainly not used to somebody as visible as Trump. Trump loves the cameras and he answers all questions, even if it's from CNN fake news, even if it's from CNN fake news. You're not, I will probably bet you, I'm Charles, that you're probably not even used to watching press conferences every day to get an update from the president, the vice president, from somebody in his cabinet, so on and so forth. Yep, I discussed the divesting chick that passed away. I said that I was going to bring it up tonight on the show, Slimmy. I wouldn't mind being at the UFC at the White House. I wouldn't mind it at all. Coach Chris says, nah, bro, Trump is dead wrong this time. You can't defend him. What am I dead wrong about? What part? What defending him about what? Y'all got to be more specific. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. TS says, AD, that why the league got that 65 game mark. If you don't play 65 games, this messes up the money. I think I'm gonna do a we're gonna have to throw a sports show up on Room 9 and see what happened. Yeah, sent to webpage contact. Country Boy Finesse says, I bet. Thank you, Country Boy Finesse. Michael Armstrong said, they say you are going down because you led the charge against face jewelry on attractive women. Speaking for myself, $8 tip versus $50 tip because of the jewelry. Women work in restaurants. What? I have no idea what I'm reading right now. They say you are going down because you led the charge against face jewelry on attractive women. You talking about the nose rings? The bull nose rings and the tattoos on the face? I don't know who they is. Who are these mysterious theys? Shout out to Coach Chris. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. All right, let's see. We have a dilemma. All right, so I've already designated two of the subjects. The Meta's AI. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about why NFL players don't get rich. That's from Indomitian Sue. We talked about the dad charged with incest. Swalwell. Let's talk about him. Accusations, all of that stuff. Let me see. Tony Gonzalez and Eric Swalwell will resign.
Facing the threat of a pending House Ethics Committee investigation and expulsion, embattled Congressman Eric Swalwell says he will leave office, answering the call from a wide swath of both Republicans and Democrats urging him to step down following allegations of sexual assault and misconduct. Swalwell continuing to deny many of the allegations, calling them false, but adding, I must take responsibility and ownership for the mistakes I did make. The California Democrat also made note of the plans to potentially kick him out of office. Expelling anyone in Congress without due process within days of an allegation being made is wrong, Swalwell said in a statement, but adding he knew it was time for him to go. It's also wrong for constituents to have me distracted from duties. Therefore, I plan to resign my seat in Congress. Swalwell was a leading candidate for governor of California.
The next governor has to be a fighter protector for all Californians.
But suspended his campaign in response to the backlash. His resignation will end the threat of a congressional probe, but he is still facing the possibility of a criminal investigation in New York, where one of the alleged incidents took place. Multiple women have accused Swalwell of sexual misconduct and assault. One woman telling the San Francisco Chronicle that she had several sexual encounters with the congressman while working in his office. She also accused him of sexually assaulting her twice while she was too intoxicated to consent. NBC News has not verified her allegations, but it confirmed her identity and that she worked for Swalwell from 2019 until 2021. This accuser sharing her story with CNN.
And he said to me, you're right. It's probably not good for a congressman to be caught with his pants down.
All right, Ryan Nobles joins us now live from Capitol Hill. And Ryan, we just got word another congressman facing serious allegations is also resigning tonight.
Yeah, that's the Republican Tony Gonzalez of Texas. He was accused of having an affair with a staffer who later took her own life. He, too, was facing an ethics probe and possible expulsion. The fact that now Gonzalez, a Republican, and Swalwell, a Democrat, have both decided to leave office means that those tight margins in the House of Representatives will not change.
So wait a minute. That's the part that I don't understand. Why would a woman, because again, and I can't put anything past anybody, I'm pretty sure it's people that's willing to kill in order to maintain their image and their perspective. And maybe I'm off. And so I would love for you guys to chime in on this and to give me y'all opinion inside of the chat. Why would a woman take her own life just because she got caught up with sleeping with you and he had an affair with you? That's the part that I'm trying to understand. Why are people taking their own lives? So you got involved in a little bit of kerfuffle. and you got caught up and you was with somebody and all of this other stuff, right? What is people, because listen, we can mine that part out. I have some strong thoughts about that. And I'll also pose that to the chat tonight and to the crew tonight. All right, let me write that down. It could be a hit. That's why I always try to keep things backed up. But let's assume for the sake of conversation that it wasn't a hit, because there's no evidence to point to it. So we can't use that as you know, a part of the conversation to say it was or it wasn't, right? But let's say, for example, that it wasn't and that the person just whatever, shame, depression, cover up, multitude of reasons is possible. Because y'all got some box? Man, where is y'all from? I told Tasha K, I said, listen, you know what was wrong with Derrick Jackson? I said, because you the person that blew the top off that muffin top. She was cracking up. I said, you know what was wrong with Derrick Jackson? She said, what? I said that he apologized. When did it become a crime to get some box? Now, you may not necessarily care about his books or selling anything like that, but he did what he did. I don't get what the problem is. His problem is that he sat there and pandered and apologized to try to make it seem like, oh, that's going to fix it. No, that's not going to fix it. They still going to hate you. So stand on it. All right, listen, I got a little box. That's what it was. And it is what it is. What you expect? I don't get it. I don't get it. There's apparently it's two accusers that spoke out about it. They did a whole interview about it, apparently. Let me see what's going on. Trump. Nope, we looked at that one.
Congressman, what was Swalwell like in Congress? Did he have a rep?
Yeah, he did have a reputation. And as you know, Jesse, I was actually the member of Congress that wrote the expulsion resolution.
Oh, hold on, not that one, not that one. Let's go to this one.
CBS News sat down for an exclusive interview with two women who say Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell sexually harassed them. They tell on Nancy Cordes why they finally decided to go public. Now, Swalwell denies allegations of sexual misconduct, but he paused his campaign for governor on Sunday and then announced he will resign from Congress. Nancy Cordes joins us now from Washington. This is so shocking to so many people. Nancy, good morning.
Yeah, and I think it was shocking for these women to find themselves in the middle of this. This was the first time that they have been willing to go on camera to tell their stories. They said it was not an easy decision, but that by coming forward, they were shocked to discover how many women had stories that sounded just like theirs.
I didn't tell anybody for years.
What happened?
Out of fear.
What were you afraid of?
Well, at first I thought I was all alone.
Annika Albrecht was still in college when she says she got what she thought was a big break. California Congressman Eric Swalwell offering to stay in touch after meeting with her student group in Washington, D.C.
He offered to mentor me.
Wow.
Y'all still falling for that one? Oh my God. Hey, listen, I'm going to keep in touch with you. I can mentor you and make sure that, you know, you really get your feet running to the ground. I've never met you before. You're not standoutish. Like, you haven't done anything special, but I want to make sure that Hold on. Hey, listen. Come on, man. Listen, bro. Nobody. Yeah, you could really go far in this city. I'm gonna take you up under my wing. We could really make this work. Nobody, and I mean nobody. I don't care who you are. I don't care how old you are. If you are above the age of 20, 19, 20, and somebody says, hey, listen, I'm going to stay in touch with you in your group, but I want your number specifically because I want to mentor you. What does that even mean? So you don't know what that means? You don't know what that means. You know what it means. All of these chicks know what's going on. And this is why I say I don't take everything at face value, bro. I don't take everything at face value. When I see people that say that they want to come out and tell their story, and the only reason that they felt as though they needed to tell their story is because they thought that they were the only one. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Let me hear the rest of this. I got to see this one. I got to see what they're saying on this one.
That was as someone who knew virtually nothing about politics at the time, or no one. That was just an incredibly generous offer that I felt very lucky to have.
She says Swalwell created a group chat with all the students and then added her as a friend on the messaging app Snapchat.
And so I asked the other people that were in the meeting, did he add them? And they said no.
Were they all men?
Yes. I was the only woman in the meeting.
She says Swalwell, who was then in his late 30s, started out talking politics, but his messages soon turned flirtatious.
Ultimately, it reached a point where he invited me to a hotel to meet him. It was
and let me guess, you felt so pressured to yourself that eventually I just decided that I just want to go. Because look, he getting whatever it is that he getting from a professional perspective. Obviously, as a congressperson, and I don't know if he's married or not. I don't really care if he's married or not. For the image that he presented, he has to present this clean cut, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so, if you're a public servant and people don't like you because they no longer going to vote for you and you've lost any kind of power in Congress, then you're going to deal with whatever the consequences are. But we're not going to keep on absolving these people from participating in it and try to make it seem like they victims. Why are we acting like they victims? Before I say they're not victims, let me hear the rest of the accusations, because I don't see any criminal charges, and so I don't see where the victimhood come from. But he invited you to the hotel, so you stayed in touch with him. You kept Snapchatting with him. When it went past level 1, you stayed there. When it went past level 2, you stayed there. When it went past level 3, you stayed there. When you went past level 4, you stayed there. And then he invited you to the hotel room. So he felt comfortable enough for you to get invited to the hotel room. All right, cool. Let's continue.
Very clear what the connotation was. At that point, I completely stopped responding. What I keep thinking back to is how lucky I am that I didn't go to that hotel.
Okay, so you decided to not go. Good for you. All right, we with it. So she decided that, you know what, I'm out. I don't want to participate. I'm good. Let's hear the second girl.
Alisa Marco says she had a similar experience in 2021. She sent Swalwell a supportive message on Twitter, and to her surprise, he met.
How did you grow? This was her message that she sent. How did you grow up to be so smart with a Republican mom and a Republican dad?
Messaged right back.
I was so excited. I was a low-level staffer who had no real political background, and he was this established figure in Democratic politics.
They began to text, but she says he soon asked if she too was on Snapchat, where messages and photos automatically get deleted after they're viewed.
How did the tenor of his conversation change?
It started out as professional and platonic, and then slowly they became more and more explicit, asking me what I was wearing. Then one night he was on a trip and he was laying in his hotel room bed, and then he sent me a photo of his penis.
So wait a minute. So Swalwell is basically a YN. He just is degenerate. This is why I keep telling y'all to stop trying to pedestalize people and thinking that white men is any different. They not. They're not. First of all, sending somebody a peen pic is diabolical in 2026, 2025, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on, man. We got to stop doing that, bro. That's you can't be sending peen pics. That's number one. That is hilarious. You know why it's so hilarious? Is because for whatever reason, people be thinking that these people are not people. They people just like everybody else. And y'all think, oh my God, it's only people that be in the chat that do that. No. Nah, he running the same play as everybody else is running the play, except for he a congressperson, and he's sitting there in the hotel room like this. Getting it at that right angle. Get it at the right angle. Yeah. Yeah, that look good. Let me go ahead and send that off. He just like everybody else. He just like all of the rest of the YNs that's out here running the streets and doing whatever it is that he does. Hey, I'm in my hotel room. What you doing? Hey, open that up. I just sent you. Oh, man. Yep. He just like everybody else. He not special. You not special. Nobody special. Everybody is the same.
Samarco showed us text messages she sent to friends at the time about Swalwell's alleged advances. In one, she wrote, "He's snapping me right now, asking when he can see me." But beyond that, both women said little for years as they built careers as Democratic campaign strategists.
I was terrified that if I spoke out against him, then people would think that I was a loose cannon, that I couldn't be trusted, that maybe I'm making it up.
That was until Swalwell decided to run for governor of California.
I'm Eric Swalwell, and it's this simple.
And quickly moved to the top of the pack.
The idea that this man who has already abused his power would be given even more power and could potentially harm even more women made my whole body sick.
So 2 weeks ago.
That's why I keep telling y'all, and I was y'all be telling y'all, and I say, hey, listen, this is how you got to move. You can't be out here being messy. You can't be doing stuff that you are not going to be proud of 10 and 20 years from now. You got to relax. Chill out, bro. Don't do too much. Hey, man, stop sending dick pics. Hey, man, stop saying this. Stop saying that. Don't tell her this. If she's going to be in your presence, do that. Do that. Because you looking at it from the lens of what you are now. You don't know what you're going to be 10 years from now. You could be running a multi-million-dollar company, be the CEO. You could decide that you want to run for office. You could be this big creator. You could do a lot of different stuff, right? You're not going to be the same person that you are today. And y'all keep sitting here, man, I ain't about to do this. I ain't doing that. I cannot tell you the amount of women that tell me, hey, these dudes is reckless. And I'm talking about famous guys and stuff like that. They be like, hey, man, they just be out here hoping that you don't say nothing, hoping that and they be telling me about what these dudes be sending them. And so I'm like, word? That's crazy. But I'm not a dirty macker like y'all, and I'm not no hater. So, you know what I'm saying? We're not going to trip off that. We're going to let them live. We're going to let them do their thing. You know what I'm saying? That's between them and them. Hey, man, I don't even care nothing about that. That's crazy. Anyway, so what's happening? Especially white women. Man, listen, bro. Listen. There's pros and cons to every group of people in every culture. There's pros and cons to every group of people in every culture. One of the cons that come along with, and I know y'all love white women, y'all love snow bunnies, y'all in there like swimwear, snow bunny, go. Snow bunnies, go. Y'all love snow bunnies, and that's cool. I'm not telling y'all that y'all shouldn't love snow bunnies. I think that all people are all people, but I want y'all to understand one of the things that come along with being with a snow bunny. One of the things that comes along with being a snow bunny is that who she is today may turn into an opportunity 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, depending on how far up the socioeconomic ladder that you climb. Trump got sued by a chick that from 50, 60 years ago when she talking about she was in a dressing room. He said, who? He said, you're not even my type. I would never even go for somebody like you. Have you seen the women that I've been with? They will hold on to something for life. Their children's children will have that as a piece of evidence. Hey, man, listen, bro, I've been there. I've done that. It's the truth. They will come back and say, hey, man, 70 years ago, I feel like I need to get justice. I'm feeling that I've kept this in for so long. I feel like I need to speak out for other women so that this never happens to somebody else, and I'm suing for emotional distress. You got any evidence? No, I was there though. What? Even these chicks, they never even slept with him. They never slept with him. These two right here, the black and the red, they say that they never did nothing. But they got a story time. Story time. So it was this guy, and his name starts with an E, and his last name starts with an S. And I don't want to say his name, but he just so happens to be running for governor of a major state. Y'all gonna learn. You're going to learn. One way or the other, you're gonna learn.
Albrecht reached out to her good friend Cheyenne Hunt, a Democratic content creator, and asked her to post a video about the rumors that have dogged Swalwell for years.
The Democratic candidate currently leading in the California governor's race has a known history of being predatory towards women. I could never have guessed where it would lead us.
Where did it lead?
I was immediately slammed with DMs from other women who said, I have a story to tell. And that was when I realized that this was a lot bigger than I think any of us knew.
Swalwell has acknowledged what he called mistakes of judgment, but denied all allegations of sexual misconduct.
They have never happened, and I will fight them with everything that I have.
And yet on Sunday, he suspended his bid for governor, and yesterday announced his plan to resign from Congress.
Is that justice in your view?
I think we just prevented another 30 to 40 years potentially of him harming people if he were to stay in Congress.
Harming who? Listen. I don't agree with the fact that he out here being reckless, but I'm trying to figure out where the harm is, because now we're starting to conflate a victim from a proposition of somebody being in a relationship. What harming who? Who did he harm? Did he talk to somebody underage? Did he do something to get somebody will? We got to be very careful. And I don't even like, they say he a Democrat. So obviously I would have never wanted him to be governor, right, of California. But I'm trying to fair is fair. Objective is objective. Who did he harm? Who did he harm? We got to stop this, bro. We got to stop this. We really do have to stop this. If I was him, I would be like, yeah, I hollered at her. It was a weeknight, and you know what I'm saying? I was in town. I thought I was about to give me some good stuff. I don't know why these guys keep apologizing. What is there to apologize for? Only person that he owe an explanation to, y'all said that he married. He only owe an explanation to his wife. He don't owe no explanation to nobody. If the only person that he has to be accountable to is a person that he laying next to at night, he don't owe nobody no explanation if he has not done anything illegal at all. He don't owe nobody an explanation. If I was him, I would stand on that. Be like, yeah, that's nice. I wouldn't even acknowledge it. I would act like these chicks didn't exist. Who? What's her name? It must have been a foggy night. I don't deal with sixes. I don't deal with fours. I don't deal with fours. That's what I'd have said. I don't even deal with fours. The reason she got the story all wrong. It wasn't that she wasn't messing with me. I wasn't messing with her. You know what I'm saying? Who is this chick? Bikes Baseball says, been word on the street, dude been a creep though. To who? Who? The only thing that women talk about is advertise you to other women. Who is the word on the street? How would you even know what the word on the street is about a person like him? Yeah, I'm good. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. She allegedly set herself on fire. You talking about the chick that allegedly killed herself for the guy? Y'all gonna have to send me that. I need to do some research on that. Michael Armstrong says, thank you, Anton Daniels, who help all ages. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Yeah, he did shoot his shot bad. Charlie LeBron says, AD played a Swalwell fart video. No, I'm not playing no fart videos. Chase Barnes says, as AD says, no men are above the program, no matter the tax bracket. Some men just get caught and other men just keep on doing what they want to do. Thank you for the 20 ball. Coach Chris says, AD, do you think infidelity should really affect your ability to lead people, or are you separating things? I think it's different nowadays. There were so many cover-ups before social media from people that was doing stuff. I mean, Bill Clinton got hid in the White House. We can always use that. It's probably one of the most infamous examples, right? But I think that times are changing now to where you don't have to be perfect in front of the camera for people to know that you're great at what you do. I think that people want to use that for a salacious tag, but I don't think that people care as much when it comes to running up a bag and doing what you're supposed to do. I just don't think that it matters as much anymore. I don't. I think that the only reason that it matters is because you say that it matters. People make a bigger deal trying to protect themselves than they really do. But in reality, I don't think that people care. I genuinely don't think that people care about what you got going on unless it's something that's diabolical. You hurting somebody, you graping somebody, something like that. I don't think people care. Nobody cares. It's been politicians that's been caught doing drugs and people be like, yeah, that's nice. So he running or what? I don't think that people care. I genuinely don't think that people care. And so I think that people need to figure out how to redirect it and use that leverage and that visibility to get bigger bags. Nobody cares anymore. That's old news. I don't agree, Yakar. I don't agree. You said they only care when it comes to leaders. I don't agree. I don't think it matters whatsoever, not even a little bit. Nope. I think that that's the perception. I don't think that that's the truth. I don't think that that's the rule. At all. At all. Nope. I don't think that that's the truth. People care if you're stealing funds, if you're stealing from taxpayers, if you're enriching your friends illegally, that type of stuff. They don't care about who's sleeping with who outside of a good headline in order to try to create create a narrative. I don't think that they care at all. I think that's old news. That's the old way of moving. None of that stuff is going to matter. You got to figure out how to leverage it. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, Coach Chris. My girl Crimson, my girlfriend says, KMSL. Peace and blessings, Lord Anton. What up, Crimson? I love this girl. I'm in love with a Crimson. Ronald Wallace says, functioning Down syndrome, shaking my head. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Make sure you guys set a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me see something. Why most NFL players and Dominican Sue put out a video the other day, and I guess he got a platform called No Free Lunch with Ndamukong Suh. And the name of it was Why Most NFL Players Don't Get Rich. When I look at the views of a lot of these people, and they might have one video, and sorry, y'all, I'm just derailing a little bit because I just want to kind of point this out. Shout out to my girl, V. Nicole. I'm going to read that super chat shortly, V. Nicole. When I look at a lot of these people that are starting podcasts and platforms and stuff like that, and Ndamukong Suh was a beast. He was a beast in the NFL. I remember when he played for the Detroit Lions. I think he wound up getting a ring too. But he got this platform with his friend, and it say how the rich pay taxes. This is what fuels Vernon Davis. It's not just football. 7 days ago, 447 views. Why fear isn't respect. 888 views. 250 views on this one. This was 3 weeks ago. 576 views, 499 views, 985 views, 333 views. The opposite of broke. Every time he talks about money, it looks like he get a little bit of a popping show. 111 views at Waymo Save Super Football. I don't know, man. 123 views. I don't know what's wrong. If people just aren't resonating with these platforms, when athletes or rappers or entertainers decide that they want to start a podcast or a show, I don't know what it is. Or maybe they just, he got 337 videos up here. What you mean, how old is this channel? And I don't think that he should stop. I think he should continue to go. He should refine it. He should do what he do. Let me see how old is his oldest video. A lot of times okay, so he started 9 months ago. All right, I mean, you just got to keep hustling. Keep on hustling. Keep on hustling.
That's what fans don't understand. It's like, man, there's guys that are, again, still living paycheck to paycheck because $43.3 million a year, boss man. Oh, my God. But go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted, man. I just had to say that.
What was the most he made in a year? On paper.
So, I mean, you know,
He's very articulate, too.
I was blessed. My peak earnings, I was averaging $20 million a year.
Okay. That's a nice number.
Yeah, it's a nice little bag. I was very, very happy living in Miami. Young Thundercat, acting a fool, as my wife would say.
Yeah, the Aston Martin music, the Rick Ross playing in your head.
Yeah, for sure.
Hair in the wind.
No hair in the wind. No hair in the wind, man. Had a fresh fade.
Yeah. So I know this number, it's like a number going around of how long the average NFL career lasts. Do you know that number? It's like 3-something years around, give or take?
Less than
that. Yeah, 3.5 years, man. It's crazy to imagine that I was lucky enough, and I feel also there was a big part of luck, but also earned the ability to play 13 years in the NFL. But yeah, most players over that 13-year career, I mean, just the turnover is crazy year by year by year by year. Being in Miami for 3 years, being in Detroit for 5 years, being in Tampa Bay for 3 years, like every single year, at least at minimum, 30, 40 new people pull up and are a part of the team. And it's crazy throughout even a regular season, like how you see, all right, you got your core group, 25, 30 guys, that bottom half of the roster, that bottom 20 guys to practice squad guys of another 15, 10 to 15, especially in my later years as they expanded that the practice squad roster. I mean, it's turnover consistently.
And to that point, before we get into the money of it all, what is the process of maintaining a certain culture when it's that much turnover, right? Like, it's got to be
great
tough,
question.
right?
Yeah, great question.
I think about the culture.
Like,
care about the money.
What's the reality of some of these guys that are, the journeymen on the 5th year, the 6th year, and like the disparity in the locker room as being one of those high earners? What's their reality?
Yeah, man. And this is where I really want to not necessarily expose this, but bring this to reality of a lot of fans. You got to understand. You see all free agency. It's a highlight of what the major contracts are going on. And then what you don't realize after that peak of the first 2-3 weeks, all right, there's a tampering period. And I hear now you can do FaceTime and you can do all these different things before the new league year. That's all for the top free agents. The 46-man roster is a 40, 45. Think about that. Let's just bump it up to $200,000. Again, still living paycheck to 45-man roster. I wouldn't say I was the 46-man on the bubble of being active or not active, but I was on the low range of my salary coming into that team, and I was a backup, and it was very humbling of looking at how that was. And so, like, having gone through that experience and seeing the best of the best and where you can be and where you're in the quote-unquote middle of the road, like, it's a big difference and that's what fans don't understand. It's like, man, there's guys that are, again, still living paycheck to paycheck because $100,000 and you're getting hidden with the jock tax and cut that in half. Like, you're playing for New York. That's $50,000 that you're bringing home. Think about that. Think about that. Let's just bump it up to $200,000. You're living in New York or / New Jersey. You're making $200,000. And you cut that in half, that's $100,000, but they're expecting you to live like the superstar that's making $40 million a year. Look,
you got to act your wage. WAGE. You have to act your wage. Before I deep dive into this, your car says, AD, do you think that the ex-player podcast market is oversaturated? Yes and no. All right. Yes and no. The no part, let me start with the no part. The no part is there's millions of YouTube channels, the overwhelming majority of which will never get the time of day or the visibility per day, right? The problem is that I think that a lot of these players are, or people, ex whatevers, right? They are all trying to get into the same conversations in the same markets. You understand what I'm saying? So if you have a limited number of eyes and visibility and everybody is talking about the same thing, then they got to pick and choose because you're competing. And so either you're going to be 10 times better than everybody else and outwork everybody else, and more interesting than everybody else, or you're going to have to approach it from a completely different angle and talk about something that somebody else is not talking about and give a fresh perspective or a fresh view and insight into something that somebody else is not familiar with, right? So is it saturated? Yes, with everybody trying to do the same thing. No, because I think that there's room if you know how to market yourself correctly. Now, here's the other side of it. They depend on their celebrity to get visibility, and that don't always work out. I don't care what you are. If you're a rapper, you're going to get an initial boost of curiosity of people trying to figure out who you are and what you're talking about or whatever. But if you are not good, that's the part that we're not talking about. It's two things that matter in content creation, all right? Two things. A lot of people don't get it. The first thing is you have to actually have talent. And part of talent is knowing if you can, A, be a content creator. B, are you good enough to be a content creator by yourself? Will people go and check you out solo, or do you need to be a part of a group? C, if you are a part of the group, are people producing you correctly? Meaning that you have to have the right mix of people together to make it interesting. You can't just throw a bunch of people up there and say, that's what people don't get about, for example, Room 9. One of the things that I'm constantly looking at and I'm constantly agonizing over, and I remember, shout out to Slimmy. When Slimmy first came, it was so hilarious because I knew who Slimmy was because I knew Slimmy way back in 2019, 2020, all of that. Me and Slimmy had linked up in Cleveland. We was friends offline before, I ever brought him on the YouTube and visibility or whatever. And I had been telling Slimmy, like, man, I'm about to run it up. I'm about to be this. I'm about to be that. I'm about to get 1 million subscribers. This was before I even had 100,000 subscribers on the Anton Daniels channel. So I knew what Slimmy's capability was, right? When Slimmy first came onto YouTube, Slimmy wasn't used to being on camera talking to people. People automatically dismissed Slimmy and was like, oh man, I don't like it. He not gonna make it. He not gonna do this. Fast forward to 2026 in April, people are saying, Slimmy makes the show. Man, I'm not watching if Slimmy not coming or whatever. Why is that? Why is that? Because you have to have the right people produce and mix you together, right? So that you ultimately are in the best position to shine. This is not just with content creation, right? This is also with work. Your job as a manager, your job as a boss before you a content creator is to put the people in a position to win, right? My job as a person that's dealing with contractors or real estate people is, okay, what is your talent and how do I put you in the best position to win? You see what I'm saying? Molly, same thing, right? Lex, when she first came through, y'all didn't know how smart Lex was when it came to the law, when it came to things that's happening in the culture and all of that. Lex is smart as hell. She's completely out of the box, especially her view of things, right? I wanted a pretty, natural looking girl from the Midwest that could communicate effectively, that was different and can embrace her differences. She a gamer. She a gamer girl. She comes from a completely different angle. Spiritual wise, she comes from a completely different angle. I don't want the same people, but I'm trying to figure out, and you mix and match people that are ultimately great. It's not just getting a bunch of people on a panel, it's getting the right people together. So what am I saying? I'm saying that it's not saturated when you look at it from the lens of how do you put the right people in the right position to win, but everybody is not a star. Everybody not going to be a monster hit from a content creation perspective. Everybody is not going to, have a bomb podcast where they get 1 million subscribers. Everybody ain't built like that, right? Sometimes we need dysfunction and not just information. Sometimes you need entertainment and then you mix it in with the candy, right? And so it's a combination of a lot of things that may go into it. I don't think it's oversaturated. I just don't think that they resonate with people. And so if you fail, you fail. People thought that they was going to come into the game and that they was just going to get rocked out with because they had a lot of visibility and they respect the fields, the NBA, whatever. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You got to put the work in. You have to put the work in. And you got to mine it out. You got to figure it out. Hey, this ain't working. I don't know. Should I endure with this? Maybe I need to switch stuff up. Maybe I need to market myself a little bit differently. Forget it. I'm coming through in the Versace robe with the shoes in the background, with the water in the background, with the Versace glasses. I'm going to show y'all what life is really like behind the scenes. I'm talking my talk. I'm walking my walk. Where all my aunties at? And a lot of people just ain't good by themselves either. But let me get back to what he was saying. He was talking about a lot of these guys. They making $200,000 a year They get hit with the jock tax. They taking home less than $80,000 a year, and they live in New York, but they visible and they famous. And so people are a lot of times expecting for them to have the same lifestyle because you are famous. People equate visibility and fame with money, and that's not how it works, bro.
That ain't mathing.
Danny Sellers that lives in New York. I didn't know there was a New York tax until I looked at my check. You know, we on the show we talk about like, hold on, why did it, with the players? And it's funny when you listen to the show, it's like, how would you not know about the taxes and stuff like that? Me, Danny Sellers, worked on a financial show, went to business school. Like, I'm like, there's a New York tax. What is this? A couple $100 coming out? It's just,
Hey, man,
you don't know if you don't know.
People don't
I think
realize.
that Brittany is a hit. Y'all don't know Britt. Britt is a feisty. Britt will get on you, bro. Britt will be on some like, I'm not backing down. I don't know who you talking to. Britt got thick skin. She feisty. She from the West, but she in the middle, in the South. When Britt came through, I said, "Yep, I found a new one. Next man up." Oh, I got a whole, let me not say fleet. I got a whole, nothing stops the movement. That's the thing that people don't understand. When you good at what you do, nothing is going to stop the movement. For me, I wanted to build a platform where it's not interdependent on any one person in order for it to thrive, and that we going to definitely run up a bag no matter what. So we going to fit the right people in. Some people going to be there, some people not. Some people going to leave, some people not. And then, you see how they do and whether or not they shake it out on their own. That's the real question that y'all should be asking yourselves. The real question that y'all should be asking yourselves, and shout out to Quentin, he played a phenomenal role, even in the background, right? The real question that y'all should be asking yourselves is, what happens if people are not produced? And when they jump out on their own, are they as successful? I'll give you an example. Let's take an Angela Yee. Is Angela Yee as successful by herself now that we've been able to observe her? And this is no shot at Angela Yee. I think that she's a good person. She seems to be a nice person. Here's the question. Is Angela Yee better by herself than she was when she was with the Breakfast Club? Is Joy Taylor better by herself than she was with on Fox Sports? Jess says, how are you measuring better? Okay, that's a fair question. All right. Let me give you an example. I'm going to use myself as an example. I was on Lapeef, right? Did my motion stop or did it take off even more when I decided that I wanted to move away from it? Did I fall off or was I always him before I got on there, when I was on there, and after I was on that platform? The measure is based off of what your success is. It's based off of the numbers. Over a period of time, over a period of 2, 3, 4 years, you should be able to measure that and say, okay, am I better off when it comes to the numbers? Is the numbers numbering, or was it the platform and the visibility and the environment that I was existing in that allowed for me to be successful? I look at Joe Budden's platform because he has a lot of content creators on there, right? Joe Budden's platform is interesting because I think that Joe successfully put together a lot of different people that come all together. Was Melissa Ford great? Is she great outside of Joe Budden? Or is she just run of the mill, same old, upload sporadically, don't got no motion, ain't nobody really trying to figure out what she's talking about. She was better as a part of the group because they all, you know, she all put that together. That's my point. Everybody's not meant to be a solo artist, in my opinion. Sometimes you the video vixen.
When we play in New York, I'm playing for Miami. I'm going up and playing the Jets. I get taxed in Jersey. I get taxed in New York multiple days because there's a thing called duty days as well that you got to calculate. So you better have a good CPA.
That's crazy. Quick question for you. My hot take is that the best position in the NFL when it comes to risk versus reward is a backup quarterback. Do you agree or no?
All day. All quarterback prepare. He knew he had a good quarterback.
I think that when it comes to the NFL, NBA, entertainment, all of these things in general, I think that everybody is, especially when you get a little bit of money younger or you get a little bit of success younger, nobody looks at it as a business and everybody looks at it as visibility. They think that fame automatically translates into money and success, and it doesn't. You can go viral, you can get a bunch of followers. It's people with 2 million followers on TikTok and they broke. It's people with 2 million followers on TikTok and they broke. When I had 100,000 subscribers on the Anton Daniels channel, I was making more money from content creation than the overwhelming majority of people that was in content creation. That's why I've always shown my numbers. That's why I show my numbers on the Patreon. That's why I talk about a lot of stuff. It's people that got, you know, followers on all of these different platforms and it don't translate. It's people that got 1 million followers on Instagram and ain't making no money. Ain't making no money. Don't understand the business side of it. And so I don't equate that. I don't equate visibility in the NBA, the NFL. I want to know your business acumen outside of the entertainment. I can view you as an entertainment. Oh, man, you're a great basketball player. Oh, man, you're a great football player. I'm able to separate that from who you are financially and if you're able to leverage that into long-term success. Real Life PJ says YouTube is a better platform to leverage 2 million followers and subscribers. Sometimes, if you know what you're doing. Sometimes if you know what you're doing. That don't always translate. A bad month for me would be 30 million views, 25 million views, 30 million. I mean, that's not my bad would be somebody's exceptional. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends. It's all context. It all depends. But then at the same time, again, I don't necessarily live as extravagant as a lifestyle as a lot of these people that don't even make close to the amount of money that I make either. All of my stuff is paid in cash. I don't have any financing. I don't have any loans out. I don't have any of that type of stuff. I don't have a mortgage that I have to keep up with. None of that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different for me. I heard that y'all mentioned Ebro in the chat. I heard that they waiting for their last check from Hot 97. Ah. A lot of people don't value ad, right? They don't. They don't add no value into the conversation. Oh, snaps. We should be at 1.35 soon. 1.35 million subscribers. Let me see. And then again, I also got a I got a different approach. I don't really care about what nobody else is talking about. For me, it's all self-promotion. I got a lot of different like I said, I got a different way in which I go about doing things. So, but shout out to him. That was an interesting conversation. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel. and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of y'all super chats, and then I want to go into this next conversation. First of all, shout out to nurses. My nurses in the building. What up, V. Nicole? Shout out to my favorite nurse ever. V, my favorite nurse ever. V says, happy belated birthday from your favorite nurse. I love and appreciate all that you do. I started following you because my husband did, and I have just loved you since day one. You will always have my support, friend. May God continue to bless and keep you. Shout out to V. Nicole, man. Listen, again, I don't take y'all love for granted. I don't take anything that y'all say for granted. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to my favorite nurse in the world, V. Nicole. I love you, V. I love my nurses. I wouldn't want to be sick in anybody else's presence except for yours. I love you, baby girl. Shout out to you. Courtney Yeager says that's why I got to get that coaching. Shout out to Courtney Yeager. I'm on it. William Collins says I 100% agree. Molly has elevated herself. She is at the top. She do research and prepare herself. Molly is a beast. Molly is a beast. AD, how was that cookie butter? Oh man, listen, I'm gonna just stay in the gym and just work out regularly and focus on living in a good life, because good food is the bane of my existence. Love me some good food. Boy, oh boy. You just try to balance it out with good work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Trying to balance it all out. Meta. I want to talk about Meta really quickly. Hold on. CNBC came out with a new video talking about Meta's new AI model. They got an Anthropic's new AI model also on CBS Mornings. All right, so let's compare and contrast. And then we'll go from there. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications.
Meta has launched its long-awaited new AI model called Muse Spark, originally codenamed Avocado. It's already running on the Meta AI app and website, and it's going to be rolling out to Meta's other apps and AI glasses in coming weeks. Here's why this launch is such a big deal for Meta. Muse Spark is the first product from Chief AI Officer Alexander Wang's Meta Superintelligence Lab. This is Meta's main R&D arm that it created when it brought over former Scale AI CEO Wang and invested $14 billion in his company. This rollout comes amid massive competition from the leading AI companies and questions about Meta ramping its capital expenditures to as much as $135 billion this year. That's near.
A lot of people don't know that a lot of these layoffs that you see from like Oracle and Meta and stuff like that, it's not because they don't need the employees. It's not because the companies are suffering. I actually went over this on Stock Club. So y'all can go into Stock Club, make sure y'all tap into that. And then y'all also look at the IPO, mega IPO, which is pinned to the top of the Patreon. It's not because the employees need to go or they need to increase the bottom line. It's because they need to figure out how they can allocate in a budget to spend a ton of money to continue to go forth and compete in this AI race that they in. And so that's why they say Meta plans to spend $135 billion in 2026. That's another reason why they get rid of a lot of these employees, is because of the spending, not because of the profitability.
Nearly twice its capex last year. It also follows the disappointment of Meta's prior AI models, such as Llama. Now, Meta says Muse Spark is its most powerful model yet. But instead of launching with a massive, sophisticated model to try to take on ChatGPT and Gemini's frontier models, this is a slower release as Wang rolls out his work. Muse Spark does seem to be initially focused on the best uses for Meta's apps, including a special mode for shopping, surfacing ideas from creators that users already follow.
They already have integrated a lot of it into like Instagram, and I haven't really used Facebook at all, so I don't know about Facebook. But they've integrated a lot of it into Instagram. And even when you go into search or you go to pick up something or you go to click on something, it gives it a summary at the top and it starts to break down based off of what your searching preferences are. So they're trying to integrate it into the products that they already have. And I think that that's what AI is going to lean into. People are going to have to start figuring out the different ways in which they want to implement AI as far as the companies, because all AI is not going to be created equal. I think that people have already kind of chosen which models that they want to use and download. Claude, a lot of developers using it, and a lot of casual AI users use it. Gemini, depending on the everyday usage, trying to integrate it into ChatGPT. A lot of y'all are already familiar with that. Grok is integrated into Tesla vehicles as well as to X, formerly known as Twitter, and they're trying to implement it into every other thing, including Tesla bots and things like that. So the question that we have to ask ourselves is not whether or not AI is going to exist, but what is the use case for it, depending on how they're trying to invest into it. Amazon, for example, is continuing to power their AI, and they're trying to integrate physical AI more than just artificial intelligence as far as on a device, right? They want to use AI and rolling it out to make sure that their warehouses is more efficient, to recommend things on the Amazon app that they want you to buy, right? To use that and leverage it with Amazon Web Services. So how people are using and leveraging AI is really the question that we have to ask ourselves when we start to have this conversation as far as what models. Like, you see how Sora pulled out a video. Is there really a use case for justifying and continuing to invest in Sora videos? Or should you leave that to somebody else that probably is a lot further along in it, so you can allocate more resources to things that's actually going to be beneficial for the company and for the product that you're trying to push out?
There is also visual coding tools to enable users to create websites or mini games to play with their friends. Meta does seem to be trying to lower expectations and address potential criticism given its massive spending on AI. Meta saying that this is only the start, and we have larger models in development, including a more sophisticated contemplating mode for Muse Spark, which Meta says is competitive with frontier models such as Gemini, DeepThink, and GPT Pro. That'll be rolling out soon. Now, given the scale of Meta's AI investments, Meta needs a variety of ways to make money from AI, which is why with Muse Spark, it's opening the door to build a potential new AI revenue stream, planning to eventually offer paid access to the model's API. That's similar to what
is up with this music in the background? Y'all don't always have to have music in the background. You could just talk about it and give your opinion or your perspective or whatever it is that y'all reading from the descriptions of, the press releases that's coming out to y'all. You don't always have to have some music playing in the background, yo.
Anthropic's Claude and Google's Gemini do for developers. Now, in contrast to Meta's previous Llama models, which were free for the open source community, Muse Spark will be proprietary to Meta, though Meta does say it hopes to release open source versions of the model in the future. Long term, it's clear that Meta does want to be truly competitive with rival AI frontier models. That's important, not just reputationally, to ensure that Meta can keep attracting top talent, but that kind of complex technical capability will be essential for Meta to achieve Zuckerberg and Wang's goals of personal superintelligence.
I don't think that Meta is going to roll out AI the same way that all of these other companies roll it out. So, for example, I think that the products that they use and that they launch is going to be integrated with it, and they're looking for the use cases with those. So if you look at Meta glasses, which those are starting to run into a lot of problems. There's a lot of organizations and people that are basically protesting against Meta glasses and saying that it's a privacy issue and that people are covering up the little eye flash thing, right? And so they're now requiring for Meta to build in more security to make sure that people are aware that you're recording when you're recording with these glasses. But just as fast as they can roll out any feature, any updated feature, people are already figuring out how to circumvent that feature and to get around it. Yep. And so, but I also think that they're going to be rolling out that artificial intelligence when it comes to those glasses. That's what they're pushing, right? And that's what they can continue to go towards. I was looking at the side of the screen, and I also had seen that it says what to know about Anthropic's new AI model.
In this morning's Tech Watch, we're looking at a stark new warning on artificial intelligence, and this one is coming from inside the house. Last week, Anthropic released a report about one of its own new models called Claude Mythos Preview. In it, the company warned the program was too powerful to be released to the public. Mythos is designed to find security flaws in software. The trouble is, it may actually be too good at its job, and Anthropic is worried about it falling into the wrong hands. And if that happens, Anthropic says, quote, the fallout for economies, public safety, and national security could be severe.
I think that this is a marketing ploy for people to continue to look at Anthropic as the ethical AI company. I believe because what they're rolling out now is they saying that, because, you know, Anthropic Claude is a developer's AI. This is the lead AI model that they're using in development, cybersecurity, so on and so forth. And they're saying that this new model could be too powerful to get into the hands of regular people. Shout out to my dog Ray Sean. It's too powerful to get into the hands of regular people or to be released to the general public because it would cause a fallout. And more importantly, people need to increase their cybersecurity, which I've already believed that cybersecurity is always going to be at the forefront of the technological sphere. So if you are going into anything going into cybersecurity, is probably a good thing. But I think that this is a advertisement, especially from them standing up to the Trump administration and saying that they didn't want them to have full access and capability of their AI. I absolutely believe that this is a marketing opportunity. It both could be true. It could be true that this is a very powerful model and that they're making this announcement because they want to market themselves as ethical.
Joining us now is former AI company founder and CEO Matt Schumer. He's a venture capitalist, and he's author of that viral article that we shared here on the show, Something Big is Happening. Matt, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Anthropic says this AI model identified vulnerabilities in every major system, from banking to technology to companies. Help us understand what could happen if this technology falls into the wrong hands, and what is this technology?
So let's start there. What is this? So Claude Mythos is the next generation of Anthropic's AI technology. It was trained to be a generally smarter AI. But the thing that's slightly worrisome about this is that even though it was trained to be generally smarter, it wasn't trained for one specific thing. When they tested it after it came out of the oven, for lack of a better term, it developed one new capability that they were terrified of, which is its ability to hack. It was over 5 times better than the previous generation of models they introduced literally months earlier.
Wow.
Now that's very, very powerful because this model can get into almost any software in the world. Software controls almost everything we do. This isn't just Slack and Salesforce. This is power grids. This is water systems. This is banking. So they did something pretty amazing if you think about it. They are about to IPO. They need to.
I talked about the IPOing of Anthropic and whether or not you should invest in it. If you are not part of the Patreon, if you did not watch that video, you need to go watch the video. I spoke about it. I spoke on SpaceX, Anthropic, OpenAI. Y'all have to watch this from a financial. Stop being behind enemy lines, bro. Stop being ignorant. Stop being the last person to find out, and then you trying to play catch up because you got a fear of missing out. Go watch the video and learn about these new mega IPOs, what their possible market, exactly how much they're going to be worth, right? How many shares that they're going to be issuing, what the pros and the cons are as far as the advantages and the disadvantages of investing in an IPO, how you can get in early, what your net worth is supposed to be. Go and look at the video. I gave y'all a very, very good, concise amount of information for you to be able to consume that, and you can get yourself a crash course, even if you're unfamiliar with AI, even if you're unfamiliar with IPOs, because you have never really invested in an IPO, even from a retail perspective. You need to go and look at it. Stop being poor and poor-minded.
Show as much profit as possible, and this thing is so smart that it could be effectively a money printer.
Yeah.
Instead of releasing this, they said, no, we're going to do the right thing. We're going to give this to the folks that need to use it to secure the systems that we rely on for our daily life so that they can get ahead of everybody else, because in 6 to 12 months, Anthropic knows if they have this capability today, every other AI lab that matters will have this too, and they might not treat it the same.
What does it?
Yeah, A, this is an advertisement as much as it's true. And B, I think that this is obviously creating a unique opportunity in so many spaces. When y'all go and y'all look for these jobs, right? Because one of the things that people like to do is they like to auto apply to jobs. That's bad. Don't auto apply to any job. A lot of times they go for the biggest companies. A lot of times they just go for whatever it is that they're looking for in Indeed. And you guys need to go and I don't know if I want to say this out loud. Nah, I give it to the bag chasers. Let me write this down. I'll talk about it later. I'll do a special video about it on live stream, and we can go from there.
Say to you that they came out and did this publicly, because, as you say, they could have kept this to themselves and continued to make a lot of money, especially with an IPO coming. What does it say to you about this company?
It's unbelievable. I have never seen something like this, a company that is about to IPO having such a moral compass. It's not something you see every day. It is wildly impressive.
Okay, so Matt, part of me says, well, this is a company.
I'm so good, bro. I am so good. I've never seen like this. I've never seen a company that has such a good moral compass. Boy, if they not marketing themselves to the widest net of people, they marketing themselves to liberals, they marketing themselves to developers, they marketing themselves to Candace Owens, they market themselves to everybody. Good gosh, come on, bro. I've never seen this before. Listen to what he just said.
It's not something you see every day. A company that is about to IPO. It's unbelievable. I have never seen something like this, a company that is about to IPO having such a moral compass. It's not something you see every day. It is wildly impressive.
Okay, so Matt, part of me says, well, this is.
Hey, bro, Gail and them don't even know what the hell he's talking
Matt,
about,
part
bro.
of me,
look at this.
You see every day. It is wildly impressive.
Okay, so Matt, part of me says, well, this.
Gail don't even know what the hell he's talking about, bro. Some of them on here is not even familiar in any way, shape, and form of what he's talking about. They don't have a clue. Anthropic, new models, security, giving it to Microsoft and all of these other companies first and all of that. They don't have a clue about what is being communicated right now. They going over their notes and their paperwork to try to get the talking points to ask the right questions to this guy.
This is a company announcing that they have created something so powerful, essentially a pat on the back. This is how good we are. But then another part of me, it scares the daylights out of me. So you say this isn't something that we should be overly concerned about, but it's also something that we should take serious.
Yes.
Which one is it? Because I am confused.
As am I, and as is everybody in the industry, right? Because you should be keeping an eye on this, but it's not time to panic quite yet. But I understand why you might think that that's the way to go, right? Because if this goes in the negative direction, it could be disastrous. Think about what software controls. It controls a lot of the systems that our daily lives run on. What happens if this gets into a banking system? What could be done there? So many different things. But the hope is that the way that Anthropic is approaching this is that the good guys can get there first and secure these systems, right? They're giving this to the bank, for example, so that the bank can take the next few months before others catch up and harden their systems so that they have more of a moat.
Most of the good guys are trying to make money.
Yeah. So let's talk about how
That's what you had to. That's what you had to say. Yeah. I mean, it's not her fault. You know, this is out of. You got to be a master of many. This might be a little bit out of her. I mean, you know, most of the good guys are trying to make money. What?
Most of the good guys are trying to make money.
Yeah. So let's.
I feel so bad for Gail. I mean, I don't feel too bad for her because she running up a bag and she continuing to cash them checks. But
talk about how this could affect us globally from an economic and from a political standpoint. The president is set to meet with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. There's this upcoming summit. People believe that AI should be at the top of the discussion list. But the question that I have is, does it matter if we think about the world as far as our traditional enemies or our traditional adversaries, China, Iran, Russia? Because anybody who has access to this technology becomes a threat.
Absolutely. So AI is incredibly powerful. And if it falls into the wrong hands and the wrong hands have access to it, it allows them to increase their position in the world. Think about how smart this is and what it can do. So yeah, you're correct in that the traditional enemies we're seeing aren't necessarily the only ones we should be worried about. However, I would say they are the most important ones to look at and take into account because they are going to keep increasing the capabilities of their models, and that can lead them to do things that maybe we wouldn't be super happy with. We are keeping pace, and we actually are quite a bit ahead right now, but there's a chance that gap closes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. You said that you think that some reporters are aging out. I think that that's why they got my man up here. That's why they got the black guy over in the black suit. If you notice, a dog been pulling double duty for different platforms. He has been pulling double duty for multiple different platforms. Don't he be on Fox News as Fox and Friends, and he also be on he be on everything. He be on everything. What's my man's name? Nate Burleson. Is that his name? He be on everything. I think that that's why they have him there, is because he is kind of able to bridge the gap while at the same time speaking professionally and looking professionally. I think that clearly he's going to be a very important asset to these networks, and he's pulling triple duty on multiple different platforms. Oh, that's the other black guy on Fox? It's not the same guy? Yeah, but I'll be seeing him on a lot of different platforms too. But anyways, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read a couple of these super chats. Just a brown girl in America said, "Good morning, Anton. I've been thinking about your trip here and the I Choose You tour. I really think I could put something together and get you out here." Girl, I'm not about to let you, I ain't about to let no. Have y'all ever had a girl get you out there, like fly you out? Hey, yeah. Not to mention there are a lot of investment opportunities right now. You so serious? All right, bet. DM me. I'm ready for a baddie to fly me out. I think I deserve it. I'm ready for a baddie to fly me out. Let me give you my Sky Miles number. No, but I am coming out to St. Louis. And the weather is breaking and the weather is good now, so I'm coming to St. Louis, yo. Getting flued out. He said getting flued out. I'm ready. I think I'm ready to get flued out. Yes. Shout out to my girl. Hey, DM me, Just a Brown Girl in America. I'm gonna send you my number. My dog Ray Sean in the building says fit time coming soon. Facts. I had a lift session this morning. Yeah. Shout out to my dog Ray Sean. Ray Schremer in the building. All right, y'all. Just checking into the chat, seeing who I got to hold accountable, or if I'm just going to let them rock out. Peloton. You got put on a bus by a chick before? I can't wait to get to St. Louis. I'm going to St. Louis. I'm going to San Antonio. I'm going to Memphis. I'm going to Mobile, Alabama. I'm going to go to, what's the What's the black city? Birmingham, Alabama. I'm going to all of these cities. Don't hold you accountable. I know you here. I know you here. I know you here. What up to my girl AALYYAH? What's up to my girl Aaliyah? Yeah, I'm coming in. You know, Mom Donnie, he over there. I got a special history and love for New York. But that Mom Donnie boy, that Mom Donnie is something different. All right, listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for all of the love. I got flew out to Orlando by a girl I met on a cruise when I was in college. Paid for the drinks and meals while you was there too. It's breaking your heart. I know, Aaliyah. I'm sorry. People love me in San Antonio. They love me in San Antonio. Anyways, listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to see y'all tonight on Room 9. Peace.